Menefee along with Brian Baldinger. And Baldy, after 8 months off, a month of preseason, you can't beat this.
No, you can't. That stuff isn't fun. Now they're keeping score, and they really count, and it makes your palms sweat just a little bit more.
Well, the Arizona Cardinals excited like everyone else because of the start of the season, but more so because they've got Jake Plummer at quarterback.
Yeah, in Arizona, the motto is, "In Jake we trust." And it should, because in only 27 starts in this league, he has risen and emerged to be a real star. He has the ability to make the big play. He gets everybody juiced up around him, but Jake isn't healthy. In the second preseason game against Tennessee this year, he hyperextended that right thumb. Now he has trouble throwing the deep ball, his passes wobble a little bit, and he has that thumb braced. But you know what's going to make him feel better today is he has the top receiving tandem of wide receivers in this league over the last 2 years. Rob Moore and Frank Sanders. Rob Moore just signed this week in uniform, and Jake is happy about that. Frank Sanders hobbled a little bit by left ankle.
Well, you talk about the veterans on offense for the Arizona Cardinals. The Philadelphia Eagles, a lot of new faces, including their head coach, Andy Reid.
Yeah, last year Andy Reid was the quarterback coach in Green Bay, and this year he makes the leap to the head coach. Now he brings his version of the West Coast offense, and he said the most important part is the offensive line. He has that mentality, and today the Eagles start 3 rookies, Brzezinski, Wellborn, and tight end Jed Weaver. The last time a team started 3 rookies in their offensive line on opening day was the Atlanta Falcons in 1969.
Well, he's not a rookie, but quarterback Doug Pederson, after 7 years as a backup, will make his first start in the National Football League facing the Arizona Cardinals. And Jake the Snake will be back with the opening kickoff after these words from your local Fox station.
Following presentation of the...
An absolutely gorgeous day here in Philadelphia. You can't ask for much better weather to kick off the NFL season, can you, Brian?
No, you really can't. And, you know, Hurricane Dennis was off the coast of New Jersey, New York, North Carolina here for the last 2 weeks. And yesterday it all lifted, and the sunshine came out like the weather guys and the gods knew that this was opening day.
Well, we'll get to see the coin toss here between the Eagles and the Arizona Cardinals. Ron Winter is our referee. His 5th year in the National Football League.
Jake Plummer out there.
All smiles today. It's opening day, man.
Arizona, who's going to make the toss call, please? Heads? Tails? And what is your choice? He called heads. Called heads. It is a tail. Philadelphia, it's your choice. You want to receive?
Eagles would like to take this ball.
Which goal do you want to defend?
Start this.
Turn this way, please.
Andy Reid era with the ball, and new quarterback Doug Pederson here in Philadelphia. Opening debut for Andy Reid as a head coach, and looking at that USA Today article on Friday, Curt, looking at that tree of Bill Walsh and all the disciples, I thought it was interesting. Andy Reid, along with Mike Holmgren and Steve Mariucci, Ray Rhodes, John Gruden, all those guys out of Green Bay, never were a head coach anywhere before. Now, because of their ability to coach this offense, now a head coach, and it's Vince Tobin there.
Well, Vince Tobin and the Arizona Cardinals run I don't want to call it a West Coast offense because Tobin told us yesterday he thinks that's too much of a moniker, but both these teams like to get the ball downfield, so we should see some excitement today. Chris Jackie set to kick it off for the Cardinals.
Yeah, the Cardinals kept 2 kickers this year. They kept Joe Nedney and Chris Jackie. And both of them kicked last year. They had 4 game-winning kicks on the last play of the game last year. He said both those guys were part of our best 53 players. He kept them both.
Alan Rossum, the deep man for the Philadelphia Eagles. Eric Bieniemy also back there. You can feel it in the air. Kickoff 99 just about ready here in Philadelphia. Both these teams with hopes for this season. The Arizona Cardinals coming off a divisional playoff battle last season when they lost to Minnesota, and they actually played well. And the 99 season is underway. Rossum out just across the 20 before running into Kobe Reinhardt, the rookie out of Wisconsin. And that's where the Eagles will begin. Led by Doug Pederson, making his first start after 7 years in the National Football League. Had been a backup in Green Bay and Miami. Up front for him, a lot of new faces on that offensive line, led by the rookies Doug Brzezinski and John Wellborn. Also a rookie on that line, if you will, at tight end, Jed Weaver. And they've got a couple of free agent pickups at the wide receiver slots in Torrance Small from the Indianapolis Colts and Charles Johnson, who came across state from the Pittsburgh Steelers.
Andy Reid is one of those guys that scripts his first 15 plays. They've been thinking about this one for about 2 days now.
On first down, play action. Pederson. Incomplete. Pass intended for Deuce Staley, but Aeneas Williams got there. Looking at the defensive front for the Arizona Cardinals, they've got the good ends in Simeon Rice and Andre Wadsworth, but Jerry Drake is in for Mark Smith, who's a holdout. Rashad Swinger in for Eric Swan, who is injured. Looking at the linebacking core, Zach Walsh, Ronald McKinnon, and Rob Fredrickson, the free agent pickup from Detroit. And the corners are good in Chavis and Williams. The safeties, Lassiter and Bennett. Second down. That's Staley. Doesn't get much. Deuce Staley hoping to make his head man Andy Reid a happy when they signed Staley to a new contract this offseason, and they had so much confidence in him they decided to bypass going on Ricky Williams, Edgerrin James in the draft.
Well, Andy Reid making his start here today in the NFL. He calls all the plays. Rod Dowhower, the offensive coordinator, has the eyes upstairs in the booth.
3rd and 9. They need to get to the 33-yard line for the first. Movement.
Eagles went with a long count right there, trying to draw the Cardinals offsides.
Ron Winter and the crew discussing it. Looks like Jerry Drake, the defensive tackle, was the man offside.
A couple free agents inside for the Cardinals, Jerry Drake and Rashad Swinger.
Prior to the snap, false start, number 34 of the offense. The 5-yard penalty remains 3rd down.
Kevin Turner at fullback. A little bit of a case of the opening day jitters. Here's Kevin right here at the fullback. Yeah, we see what happened was the defense can actually be in the neutral zone as long as they get back and there's no contact. But Kevin Turner, when he saw those guys jump into the neutral zone, he moved. The offense can't move once that hand gets on the ground.
Now it's 3rd and 14. They still need the 33 for the first. Pederson. Pass is caught, but going to be short of the first down. Brian Finneran makes the catch. But not enough for the first down, so the Eagles in their first possession fail to get a first down. And the crowd already getting on him. But this is Philly, right?
Now, a lot of people are looking at Doug Pederson. When Andy Reid picked him up from Green Bay, he immediately named him as his starter. And so he's been under scrutiny ever since he got here. But Andy Reid believes in him. He says he knows the system, and it's up to everybody else to get more comfortable with it before he gets better.
The veteran Sean Landeta punting to Michael Pittman. Pittman from his 17. Nowhere to run to. Nice open field tackle by Allen Rossum. 55 yards on the punt, 0 on the return. So Jake the Snake gets his first opportunity at quarterback this season. Plummer, in just his 3rd year in the National Football League, already one of the top passing QBs. The guys up front big, average 317 pounds, led by the left guard Chris Dishman, who comes in at 338. The smaller guys, well, you've got a couple of rookies and Joel Makovicka at the fullback, the rookie out of Nebraska, and David Boston starts at one wide receiver slot, replacing Rob Moore, who just signed on Thursday. Moore will play today. From the 19, Adrian Morrell. He's got no running room, gets a yard. Troy Benson on the tackle. The Eagles defense starting out very strong this afternoon. Up front, they've got a strong man and pass rusher, Hugh Douglas, 12.5 sacks last year, 7th in all the National Football League. Martin, Thomas, and Jefferson along with them. The linebacking crew, led by the 9-year veteran William Thomas. Jeremiah Trotter making his first NFL start in the middle. James Darling is the other backer, and their corners, Al Harris, replacing the injured Bobby Taylor, who will see some action in nickel situations this afternoon at cornerback.
They're letting this clock run down here.
Gets it off. Morrell. Gets it out to the 24-yard line, a gain of 4.
I think what we've seen here from the Eagles so far is really their personality of this team. Going to struggle on offense, but the crowd gets into it when the defense is out there. They've played very well in the preseason, and then great special teams. And you saw the great punt by Sean Lindetta to get him down there. And that's what they want to play. They want to play this game close to the vest, make it a field position game, make Arizona drive a long field.
On third down, they need to get to the 29 for the first. The Eagles with both their pass rushers in Mike Mamula and Hugh Douglas in there right now. Plummer, first pass goes nowhere, incomplete. So it's 3 and out for the Arizona Cardinals on their first possession as well.
Well, they're going to put pressure on Jake because that is their personality right here. Here's the joker in this defense on third down. This is Jeremiah Trotter making his first start in the NFL, second-year player. They like what he's done. Good job by Adrian Morrell, but Jake rushed that ball and threw that ball behind his target.
Got players set to punt. Allen Rossum deep to receive for the Eagles. Going to be a short one. Calls for the fair catch at his 41. 35 yards on the punt. 0 on the return there. Each team has had it once. The Eagles get their second opportunity here in the first quarter.
The NFL and official airline of the Super Bowl.
Man, you talk about the weather here. It just can't get much better. I know we keep saying it, but that's because we can't believe it. Doug Pederson on the first down from the 41. Deuce Staley. Staley with a little running room. Gets some nice help from that offensive line. Corey Chavis on the tackle.
Deuce Staley was the offense last year. He led his team in receptions and yards, and running right behind that rookie left guard, Doug Brzezinski, going up against Rashad Swinger right now inside. And that's an area where the Eagles really have to make some money today. They've got to attack the interior of that defense, minus Mark Smith and Eric Swan.
After the 7-yard pickup, 2nd and 3, here comes the blitz. They pick it up and pass is complete. Charles Johnson. Kwame Lassiter finally gets him out of bounds.
Now the first 2 free agent pickups of Andy Reid was Torrance Small and Charles Johnson. Charles Johnson, former #1 draft pick right here of the Pittsburgh Steelers, going to work one-on-one with Corey Chavis. Last year a safety, making the transition to corner. And Johnson has the size that Andy Reid likes. Over 6 feet, over 200 pounds, physical receiver. When Charles Johnson says, I hope they get up in my face and try to press me today, I'm ready to beat them.
Well, he beat him for 15 yards on that play. First down, Kevin Turner. Gary Drake stops him right about the line of scrimmage. Picks up 1 yard.
Talking about the rookies and that offensive line, I had a laugh. I was talking to Doug Brzezinski the other day in the middle of the week, and everybody was asking him, are you nervous, and what's it going to feel like? And the only thing that he was worried about was how hot it was going to be at practice and how much weight he was going to lose. And, am I going to blow my lunch out there in the field or not? Now, he wasn't thinking about being nervous. And once you start playing the game, it feels like it always did.
Deidre Gell's in motion. He gets the pass out across the 30-yard line before Kwame Lassiter brings him down.
The old fake double screen. I remember running that against Howie Long one time. He was out there in the field calling it out. You're going to see now, they're going to fake it over here to the left, like you would normally run this to Kevin Turner. And then here, Deidre Gell's in motion is going to come back and take this screen. He's going to hide underneath there and then come out. Now you get the big lineman out front. That's the right guard, Jermaine Mayberry, leading the way. And one thing about Andy Reid's offense, there is some ingenuity within it.
On third down, they need the 27 for the first. Pederson to pass. Dumps it off. Doesn't quite get there. Pass was to Deidre Gell, who does not get the 3 yards necessary, it looked like.
The first big decision for Andy Reid as they're short on the third down, forcing a fourth down.
Reid wants a measurement, looks like.
I think first-year coach, you should be able to call for a measurement and get one. Doug Pederson going to be scrutinized from the very first play all the way through this season, as their #2 pick was spent on Donovan McNabb, who was electric in the preseason, but doesn't have a command of the offense the way Doug Pederson has been training in Green Bay for the last 3.5 years.
McNabb himself admits right now maybe he's not quite prepared, and certainly he is prepared to play if necessary. But who knows about starting with this blitzing Cardinal defense, as they did get enough yards and they get the first down. So no decision for Reed to make. That's how you do it as a first-year coach.
No, you call for the measurement, you get the measurement, and then you make it. No, right now they got good field position to start this drive. A couple of nice plays by Doug Pederson to move this team. They're in scoring position. And Andy Reid said, you know, we need to get points on the board every time we start knocking. And here they are at the 27. This is a position where they need to come away with points.
Deuce Staley in motion on first down. The pitch to Turner. Kevin Turner turns it upfield, gets it down to the 24-yard line. Rashad Swinger on the tackle.
Well, talking to Andy Reid, you know, we were looking at his pre-scripted plays for this game. He has 15 plays that he has written down, all from different formations, all with different motion. He wants to give that defense as many looks as they can possibly get.
Now, the first 15 plays are not the first 15, technically.
Right. That's outside of third down or inside of the 20-yard lines. That's a whole new, different series of plays.
2nd and 7. Staley dances his way across the 20-yard line into the open field and into the end zone. Touchdown, the Philadelphia Eagles.
The deuce is loose.
24 yards on the scamper for Deuce Staley, and the Eagles are on the board first.
Watch the cutback right here. Deuce Staley. Good vision right here. He breaks the tackle at the line of scrimmage. That's all vision. Last year's MVP, and the one highlight of a 3-13 team a year ago was Deuce Staley.
Norm Johnson on for the extra point. He gets it. The Philadelphia Eagles make Andy Reid a happy man in his NFL debut. Deuce Staley, number 22, going 24 for the score. It's 7-0. Deuce Staley's touchdown put the Philadelphia Eagles on top 7-0. David Akers kicking off. Mario Bates. Make it Michael Pittman takes it up at the 10-yard line. Pittman out across the 30. 22-yard return.
Offensive line with 3 rookies in it get off to a pretty good start on Deuce Staley's touchdown run. You're going to see right here Jed Weaver and Jermaine Mayberry taking their men down the field. I mean, charge a little cab ride what Jermaine Mayberry did to Jerry Drake. And Deuce Staley maybe breaks as many tackles as anybody in the league. And Jeff Lurie, in his 6th year of owning the Philadelphia Eagles, his 3rd head coach, off to a happy opening day start.
That's Frank Sanders in motion. Whistles are blown. That play was blown dead before Hugh Douglas. He was just saying hello and welcome back, Jake.
Yeah, they didn't hear any whistles. You know, opening day, all you're thinking about is number 16. You're not listening for any whistles out there.
Prior to the snap, false start, number 73 of the offense, a 5-yard penalty, remains first down.
That's Matt Joyce, who was playing left guard during the preseason because they had injuries to both their guards. Lester Holmes was in a car accident. Chris Dishman had a dislocated elbow, so Joyce spent the whole preseason at left guard. He made his first start today at left tackle.
Staley's 59-yard or capped a 59-yard drive for the Philadelphia Eagles to put them on top here. It's 1st and 15 for the Cardinals. Plummer scrambling, and this is when he's dangerous. Incomplete pass intended for Frank Sanders. Troy Vincent on the coverage right now for a game break, though. Let's send it to the Fox Network Center in Los Angeles and JB.
Curt and Brian Cowboys have been waiting for 3rd-year tight end David LaFleur to show Jay Novacek-type skills. Look at that catch. Fumbles it, but brings it back in. We'll call it a bobble, but he brings it back in. Dallas on top, 7-0 over Washington in the 1st. Back to Curt and Brian.
Yeah, you know, Curt, that was the #1 draft pick at LSU, and that was Troy Aikman's pick a couple years ago.
Right.
And he really hasn't done much to this point, but Troy had worked him out in college, and now 3rd year in that system, he's becoming more comfortable.
Jake Plummer, having a hard time hearing, decides to call a timeout. Plummer going to talk it over with his head coach, Vince Tobin. His team trailing by 7. Leading it 7-0. The City Hall in Philadelphia on a gorgeous day for football. The Eagles fans think it's gorgeous with the weather and the way their offense looked on the last drive. Pederson getting another shot, hands off to Deuce Staley. And right after the 24-yard run for the touchdown, Staley comes through again. Gets it out to the 41, a pickup of 9.
Well, we mentioned at the outset that they're minus Eric Swan and Mark Smith inside, playing a couple of free agents, Jerry Drake and Rashad Swinger. And right now, take a look at Doug Brzezinski right here, working one-on-one inside along with Steve Everett. They just caved that whole inside out. Trey Thomas coming down as they pick up the blitz and just mash everybody inside.
Staley again. Spins away from a tackle. Fights his way for the first down. Simeon Rice had him but couldn't hold on to him. Tommy Bennett finally brings him down. Well, I tell you, we should call him dance-induced the way he's going today.
But his Simeon Rice working up against Trey Thomas. No, he just slides inside. I mean, he gets skinny, and he goes sideways, and he goes right by Trey Thomas.
Pederson on first down with time. Pass falls incomplete. Intended for Charles Johnson, but he couldn't hold on.
Now, one of the reasons why Andy Reid decided to take Doug Pederson and stayed with him through this preseason is he has the ability to make the progressive reads down the field. Last time you just saw him make about 4 reads to go over the middle. It was an incomplete pass, but Andy Reid doesn't have to scale back his offense at all with Pederson in there.
Staley, the lone setback on second down. Pederson going deep for Torrance Small. Ball intercepted. Corey Chavis making Aeneas Williams, Aeneas Williams with the interception on Doug Pederson.
Aeneas Williams, who's been to 5 straight Pro Bowls. Only 1 interception in the regular season last year. Here he is one-on-one right here, playing that press coverage. Right up on the line now. This ball's in the air now. Aeneas Williams becomes the receiver on that play. It wasn't enough just to cover Torrance Small as Pederson overthrew Small. And now Charles Johnson has to become a defensive back and make the tackle.
The Cardinals take over on the 27, 1st and 10. Plummer still looking for his first completion of the afternoon. Hands off to Morrell. Adrian Morrell. Brought down by William Thomas.
And this new scheme of Jimmy Johnson's, the new defensive coordinator brought in from Seattle. The linebackers love it. Allows them to freelance and blitz. The key to this blitz by Willie Thomas, who makes the play on this, is the timing of it. As that ball snapped, he gets inside of Chris Dishman and hunts him down.
No gain on the last play. Second down. Play action. Makovicka, the rookie out of Nebraska, dances his way to the 31-yard line. A gain of 4 before Brian Dawkins hauls him in.
Yeah, talked to Joel Makovicka yesterday, and his left guard, Chris Dishman, says he looks like a medicine ball with arms. In order to catch the football, you got to have some arms and hands, and at Nebraska, wasn't really called on to catch the ball very often because of that powerful running game, but has the ability and is replacing Larry Centers, who's the Cardinals' all-time leading receiver at that position.
On third down, the Cardinals need to get to the 37 for the first. Plummer. Over the middle, pass complete to Frank Sanders. Good enough for the first down.
Frank Sanders coming off a hobbled ankle that he hurt in the last preseason game. Actually, the first day of practice in preseason in Flagstaff, he stepped into a pothole and hurt his ankle, but he beat Al Harris on that play, and Plummer had good protection in time.
Arizona going with a no-huddle offense, trying to get things going here. Makovicka. Ball is loose. And the Eagles recover. Hollis Thomas picks up the loose ball. And the Eagles pay Arizona back for their turnover.
Well, the medicine ball just coughed up the ball on a great hit as Makovicka just stood up at the line. In there coming in from the secondary is Timmy Hawk, the new free safety. Watch Hawk come into this ball here. Number 45 comes in right there, like a missile. And I call Tim Hawk snapper head, because that's what he does. He snaps heads. That time knocked the ball loose, and Greg Jefferson comes up with the loose ball. The Eagles get the turnover right back.
First down from the 31 for the Eagles. Pederson. Ball is stripped. Loose again. Trey Thomas falls on top of it, and boy, is this week one or what?
Now the ball's out there on the ground way too often, but that's Simeon Rice, who had a great season a year ago with 10 tackles, and he's working up against the guy who the Eagles think have potential to be in a Pro Bowl, Trey Thomas. Here's the matchup. He's got Trey Thomas in space right now. Trey never gets his hands on him. Fortunately, Thomas doesn't quit on the play and ends up falling on the ball. First big play by Simeon today.
They lose 7 on the play, so it's 2nd and 17. Staley gets some of it back, but there's Simeon Rice again.
Simeon Rice, who tied the NFL record for sacks by a rookie 3 years ago, tying Leslie O'Neal. Had 12.5 sacks as a rookie. Last year he dipped to only 4, or 2 years ago to 4, and last year back up to 10. And he said he had a great preseason. He was out there every single practice, didn't miss a practice, was healthy. And he said he's in rare form, and you'll see Simeon line up in a lot of different stances. A lot of times in a 2-point praying mantis stance.
On third down, they need to get it to the 22 for the first. Pederson scrambles for the first time, doesn't get there, just back to the 31-yard line, but there is a flag down on the play. And there is an Eagle who is injured right now at a 42-yard line.
That's John Welborn, who's had trouble with the left knee. He's got a partially torn patella tendon.
And that's where he's grabbing right now.
He's grabbing right there, and he was favoring that knee all preseason and started having trouble with the other knee as a result.
Illegal use of hands to the face. Number 25 of the defense. A 5-yard penalty and a first down.
Boy, that doesn't look good.
This vet turf. Here's John right here. He's been working outside on Andre Wadsworth. That left knee just collapsed. That left knee didn't hold up on this turf. Foot stuck into the ground, and young man went down. He's in a lot of pain.
We'll be back to update you on his injury situation right after this. Offensive lineman John Welborn trying to pump up an air cast to surround that left knee, try and give him a little bit of support.
Well, you're going to see on this replay right here, working against Andre Wadsworth, this left knee just plants in the turf. Here's the matchup, and here's Andre Wadsworth coming into him. He's just trying to get himself settled here. Just trying to plant that left leg right now to anchor against Wadsworth inside move. And this left knee right now, right there, just gives way.
Just buckled on it.
Yeah. I mean, Brad Otis came into him, but that knee had buckled before Otis ever got there.
And they knew Welborn was a health risk coming into this game, because not only did he have a bad left knee, but his right knee was giving him problems too.
A player like Andre Wadsworth gets cut short. Now Mayberry has a second strip of Rice on this drive. He stripped Doug Pederson on the play, and now he just stripped Deuce Staley, and Staley is a guy that has had great hands in that football.
Last year, 315 touches, only 2 fumbles, and recovered both himself. So first down for the Cardinals. Plummer going deep. Pass intercepted. Al Harris. Harris inside the 5-yard line. They call him out of bounds right at the 6. No touchdown, but another interception and 32-yard return for Al Harris.
Al Harris, who starts for Bobby Taylor today and has clearly been their best cover corner this entire preseason, going up against the rookie, David Boston. And Harris makes a great break on that ball. The ball is slow as getting there, and now Harris becomes an athlete. He wants to get in the end zone, and they practice this all the time. Jimmy Johnson's new defense is predicated on turnovers. Last year, the Seattle Seahawks, where Jimmy Johnson came from, had 8 interceptions returned for touchdowns a year ago.
So it's first and goal from the 6-yard line. Here comes the blitz. Pederson lofts it up. Pass incomplete, intended for Charles Johnson. Aeneas Williams all over.
Well,
there's a flag down.
Aeneas Williams was stuck to him. It was like Velcro.
It was a personal foul. Our referee, Ron Winter.
Yeah.
Personal foul. Yeah. Roughing the passer. Illegal contact to the head. Penalized half the distance to the goal. And first down.
Yeah, the second-year player, Zach Waltz, making his first start. You're going to see him coming from the corner right here. Going to get a shot. Now watch his hands end up right at the head of Doug Pederson. Really a silly move.
He's a Dartmouth man. He's supposed to be smarter than that.
That's exactly right. Gives the Eagles a first down inside the 5.
Fewest points in the NFL last year, looking for another touchdown here. Pederson. Pass complete. Touchdown. Deuce Staley and the Philadelphia Eagles.
Two first-quarter touchdowns for the Eagles.
This is a new era. They had 17 points only once all last season. They've got 13 going for 14 here. We're not even done with the first quarter.
Well, they only threw 2 touchdown passes the first 11 weeks last year. Already here today, their first touchdown of the season.
Norm Johnson, who's made 278 consecutive extra points, makes it 279. And the Eagles riding the back of Deuce Staley, who's run one in and now has caught one. 2 touchdowns for Deuce here in the first quarter. And the Eagles lead at 14-0.
You're going to see Deuce right here. I mean, he's just going to come out underneath this bootleg. Usually in a bootleg, you're looking for the tight end. He looks for the running back all the way. There's a different wrinkle. See Dietrich Jells on the fake. It froze Andre Wadsworth. That fake froze Wadsworth. And it allowed Staley to come underneath. A lot of misdirection here in this action, and this is Andy Reid's offense. Creative, a lot of ingenuity, and most importantly, a quarterback that can get it to the open man. Deuce Staley acquits himself well for making his first fumble in the NFL. First lost fumble in the NFL. Those are jets blowing literally moisture and cool air right after.
You don't want to cool him off. He's the hot man right now. 2 touchdowns already, and we're still in the first quarter for the Philadelphia Eagles. 4 possessions, 2 scores. Not bad.
Yeah. Deuce Staley feeling pretty misty right now, but he wants more. And the Eagles able to create turnovers right now and capitalize on them.
David Akers set to kick off. Mario Bates, the deep man. Michael Pittman also back there for the Cardinals. And that's going to be Mario Bates from his 2. Oh, hit hard.
Yeah, Mike
Caldwell. Special teams demon.
Dietrich Terrell's forced him there.
But what a hit by Caldwell there.
Deuce there, second touchdown of the day so far.
Of the season, too.
Of the season.
Opening day. 6 yards, not bad. 8 seconds.
Last year's MVP of this team, getting it off to an MVP start here today.
The Cardinals go with 3 wide receivers. Boston and Sanders at the top of your screen, Moore at the bottom. Plummer. Pass incomplete. He seems to really be having trouble with that thumb getting a spiral on the ball, tight spiral.
No, Rob keeps looking at that thumb after he throws it. Ball's not coming out quite the way he wants it to right now.
Jake told us yesterday that he does have trouble when he tries to throw the ball, when he has to throw it and it comes off his thumb.
Well, he's really hoping that the adrenaline and the excitement of the game kicks in and he doesn't feel the thumb. But, you know, no quarterback wants to throw the football with a bandage on your thumb. It feels awkward, and it probably comes off awkward.
2nd and 10. Hands off to Morrell. Major and Morrell scampers out across the 26-yard line, a gain of 4. Jeremiah Trotter on the tackle.
Now, the Cardinals going to a hurry-up offense right now. This is what really allowed them to get into the playoffs last year. This type of offense, setting the tempo, forcing the action right from the line of scrimmage where Jake will call all the plays. This isn't a no-huddle offense, just a hurry-up.
On third down, they need to cross the 32 for the first. Norrell in motion. Plummer. Pass intercepted again. Brian Dawkins. Down inside the 10-yard line. Jake Plummer with his second interception of the ball game.
Jake is having trouble. Adrian Morel, the back out of the backfield. This is 5 wide receivers. Jake sees his target. Right through the hands there of the tight end Terry Hardy. Brian Dawkins on the tip drill alert. You see this ball is intended for his tight end Hardy. That ball is wobbling and tipped. It was a wobble, tip, wobble right to Dawkins.
WTW.
Yeah.
The Eagles off another turnover, takes it over at the 10-yard line. First and goal. Deuce Staley again. Spins his way, doesn't get anywhere. But you've got to wonder about the condition of Jake Plummer's thumb. 2 interceptions, and that pass, as you said, not pretty.
Well, Jake has said, he said it during the week, and he told us yesterday in the meeting that if I'm hurting the team, and I'm not as productive as I want to be, I'll take myself out. Now, what we don't know is just how much that thumb is bothering his throws, but he said that because of the condition, the ball is wobbling a lot more than it normally would. And that last pass, although it was tipped, was wobbled coming out of his hand.
On second down, flags are thrown.
A false start on the Eagles here.
Exactly. Going to back them up 5 more.
Sometimes isn't a bad thing to do when you're down in this compressed area of the field. Give yourself a little bit more room to work in.
Especially in an offense like this that likes to get so many guys out.
So you're going to see some creative formations out of Andy Reid and some creative route running as well.
Here we go with one. Luther Broughton in motion. Pederson.
Tight end screen.
Dumps it off to Broughton. Broughton's got room into the end zone. Touchdown, Philadelphia Eagles again.
That's the creative play I'm talking about, Curt.
15 yards on the pass to Luther Broughton for the touchdown, and the party's on in Philly.
And maybe backing him up 5 yards allowed this play to develop, giving him a little bit more room. Luther Broughton, who just got picked up from the bus stop here
on Tuesday from
the Carolina Panthers, but is well schooled in the West Coast offense because Gil Haskell from the Green Bay Packers runs the same system, same terminology, very comfortable stepping in.
Norm Johnson, consecutive extra point number 279, and the Eagles score on back-to-back possessions. They've had 5 possessions. They've scored 3 touchdowns already here, and there's 16 seconds to go in the first quarter.
Well, the tight end screen, Luther Broughton coming in motion, hiding like he's going to block Simeon, lets him come on a screen. Excellent setup. Now look at Brzezinski outside. The rookie gets out, leads a little interference, and Broughton, who was brought in here because he runs well. A guy that actually was drafted here by the Eagles 2 years ago, but released last season, back now in a trade, brought in here for a draft pick. Excellent throw by Pederson, excellent setup, nice block by Brzezinski on the corner. Corey Chavis, and Eagles, the second touchdown pass of the season.
Not only does he run well, he doesn't dance too badly either, huh?
Yeah, and he's going to keep that football too. Second career touchdown catch for Luther Broughton. I talked to him this week. I said, Luther, you're just here 2 years ago. He goes, and I liked it here. I didn't want to leave. And then he said, I went to Carolina, and Wesley Wall's down there taught me a lot of stuff, and I didn't want to leave there. He said, ultimately, all I want to do is play. He's going to get a great opportunity, this offense, to be that tight end that catches a lot of balls.
David Akers set to kick off again. Mario Bates, the deep man for Arizona, from his 2. Bates out to the 26-yard line. Allen Rossum brings him down. 26 yards on the return there. The Arizona Cardinals trying their best to get something going here. Jake Plummer still in the game at quarterback.
This entire franchise hinges on the success of Jake Plummer. He's one of those guys, when he plays well, everybody in the team plays well. And so goes Plummer, really so goes the Cardinals. He finished so strong last year.
Morrell, the lone back on first down. Gets it. Stopped short. The 29-yard line. Hugh Douglas grabs it. That's going to be the last play of the first quarter. The Eagles on top of Arizona 21-0. Fox NFL Sunday will continue after these messages and a word from your local Fox station. Here at the Vet in Philly, it's been all Philadelphia Eagles as they lead the Cardinals 21-0, getting ready to start the second quarter. Curt Menefee along with Brian Baldinger, and they may be down 21-0, but it is still early in this ball game, and you've got Jake Plummer back there. Not healthy, but Jake Plummer nonetheless. That's Adrian Morrell. He can't go anywhere. William Thomas with the tackle. Looking at the stats from the first quarter, well, you look at the scoreboard and you see it's all Philadelphia Eagles. And you look at the stats, not much of a surprise.
Well, no, and here's the big one right here. With the interceptions with Harris and Brian Dawkins right now. But, Doug Pederson is moving this football team, and we've seen a number of creative formations taking advantage of some of the blitzing that the Cardinals are doing.
3rd and 8. They need to get to the 37-yard line for the first. Plummer. Pass complete. Frank Sanders gets enough for the first down out to the 35-yard line.
Yeah, Frank Sanders now coming off that hobbled ankle right here in the slot, working up against Bobby Taylor. Comes on a blitz, and Willie T has to pick him up. Willie Thomas, the outside linebacker, and Frank Sanders, nice job of breaking that pattern off when he saw the blitz.
First down from the 45. Morrell.
Ooh.
There's some hitting going on with that Eagles defense out there, and we talked to some players, and they were saying that they feel rejuvenated this season under new defensive coordinator Jim Johnson.
What he's allowing them to do is just cut it loose. Just go downhill, meaning attack the line of scrimmage. Last year, the Eagles seemed like they spent the whole season trying to protect the end zone and not give up the big play. Now they're trying to force things right at the line of scrimmage.
Play action. Plummer. Pass complete. Terry Hardy, the tight end. Right now, though, let's go to James Brown in the Fox Network Center, if I can get it out, in Los Angeles for an NFL update. JB, help me.
Curt, take a look at Brad Johnson. Get it out. Plenty of protection there. Who does he find on the post pattern? Michael Westbrook, 41 yards later. Skins within 4. The Cowboys now 14-10. That in the second. Back to Curt Menefee and Brian Baldinger.
Michael Westbrook, the guy that the Redskins hoping comes through this season like they had planned on him doing when they drafted him out of Colorado.
He's got all the tools, and now he's got a quarterback to get him the ball.
3rd and 1. Makovicka, the fullback, in motion, leading the way for Mario Bates. He gets the first down.
Yeah.
Hit hard by Jeremiah Trotter, but only after he picked up 2, which was enough.
A nice job on the left side with Matt Joyce over there. Mario Bates, their short yardage runner. Chris Dishman over there, Matt Joyce, and the tight end, Terry Hardy, all doing a good job against Hugh Douglas and Brandon Whiting.
And Joyce playing there in the left tackle slot because their rookie they drafted, L.J. Shelton, has not signed a contract just yet. Plummer dumps it off. That's Morrell. Adrian Morrell knocked out of bounds. And speaking of L.J. Shelton, we join our 3rd member of our team right now, Don Tollefson, who's on the sideline with the general manager of the Arizona Cardinals.
Absolutely right, Curt. Bob Ferguson, first game. Did you have a feeling with all the turmoil and the injuries and all the changes that you wouldn't come out of the gate well?
Well, you could tell Baldinger could have timed this interview a little bit better, but, no, we anticipated maybe being struggling, with Jake's thumb. This is the first time 4 of our starters have even played together, It's nice to see Lester back on the field, but after a lot of the things that happened this summer, this is going to be training camp for us. Looks like it right now. Turnovers are killing you. They always do.
Yeah, you got a nice little run going here, but the thing with the Cardinals was you were so high after winning a playoff game last year. It really has been kind of a step backwards for this team, hasn't it, Bobby?
Not really. We're stepping forward. We've got a lot of fans in Southern Arizona, Tucson, Nogales, Douglas, Flagstaff. We're trying to build a team for the future. We're going to go through some ups and downs, and this is an exciting young team, and it hasn't been yet today, but, you know, with Jake, and if the thumb holds up, maybe we can bring him back.
Quickly, for your fans out there, Mark Smith, Lonnie Shelton going to be in soon?
Well, we're still talking. Hopefully they will. They're going to miss a lot of it if they do. But we got an exciting year ahead of us.
All right, back upstairs to Curt.
All right, thanks a lot, Tolly. On first down, Plummer. That's Adrian Morrell. Morrell goes down. Troy Vincent on the tackle. When you talked about L.J. Shelton still holding out, Mark Smith still holding out. They just got Rob Moore back, and maybe thanks in part to Jake Plummer.
Well, Jake Plummer, was upset. He said, Rob Moore has been as big a part of this offense. In fact, he said, watching the Cardinal offensive highlight reel last year, Rob Moore was about half of the highlight film. He said, we need him in, and they went upstairs to Bill Bidwell and the owner, and he said, we got to get him in, and a couple days later, Rob Moore was here, and Rob Moore is thankful for Jake's ability to go do that.
The 10th play of the drive is a complete pass to David Boston, the rookie out of Ohio State.
David Boston, the rookie, nice-looking rookie, too. I mean, fitting in with the new mold of wide receiver in this league. Over 210 pounds. I mean, it's a big upper body, and he runs like a track star. Coming out of a big-time program at Ohio State. Big expectations of Boston.
Play number 11 on this drive, and a first down from the 18. Morrell out across the 15, down to the 14. Jeremiah Trotter, who's been busy himself with the tackle. But this is maybe what the Cardinals needed, rather than going for the big play, to kind of settle in and get in the groove here.
I think the Cardinals are used to getting off to bad starts. Jake Plummer has had 9 fourth-quarter comebacks in this league, behind and going into the fourth quarter and pulling it out. And even against the Cowboys a year ago down there, they were down 35-7 and were within one play at the end of the game of tying that game up. With him on the field, this team always feels like they have a shot.
The pitch to Morrell. Adrian Morrell, nowhere to go. Stopped near the line of scrimmage by Damon Moore.
Yeah, the young rookie for the Eagles from Ohio State. Just talking about David Boston from Ohio State. Came in and cleaned that up. See Stone Joel Makovic at the line of scrimmage, the fullback. Nowhere for Morrell to go.
Stone Joel? Is that his name now, Stone Joel?
He'd rather have that than medicine ball.
3rd and 5 from the 13. They need to get to the 8-yard line for the first. They did pretty well in the red zone last year.
Rob Moore one-on-one against Troy Vincent at the bottom.
Plummer to Makovic, out of the backfield, hitting the open field. Troy Vincent, make it Bobby Taylor. Bobby Taylor in the game right now, making the nice open field tackle.
Now, what you're seeing from the Eagle defenders is aggressive play all over the field. I mean, Makovic is the underneath receiver. He looks for Rob Moore deep, and he's not there. So he goes to a safety valve, but Bobby Taylor, nice read. That ball came loose right there. That ball was loose under there. Watch this ball come out. Boom, that ball is out.
That's twice for Makovic.
But if you're a medicine ball and you fall on a ball, the ball covers the ball.
Well, Chris Jackie on to attempt the 31-yard field goal. Gets it through the uprights, and the Cardinals get on the scoreboard. Jackie cutting the 21-point deficit down to just 18, 21-3. Eagles leading in the second. Chris Jackie kicks it off. Allen Rossum takes it for the Eagles in his own end zone. Once you start dancing, there's usually not a whole lot of places to go.
And there's a couple flags down the
16-yard line, exactly, and a couple of flags on the play. Von Winter trying to sort out what the penalty is.
Anytime you jump out like the Eagles have, you don't want to do anything to hurt yourself. And the Cardinals right now with a nice 14-play drive in the last series resulting in a field goal.
We're in return. Holding.
Number 45 of the return team. Penalized half the distance to the goal. First down.
That's on the safety, Tim Houck, one of the newcomers here for Andy Reid and the Eagles. All right, so the Eagles will take over from their own 14-yard line. Actually, by the time they march it off, it'll be the 9-yard line, leading it 21-3. First down for the Eagles. Deuce Staley out of the backfield takes the pass from Doug Pederson. Gets it out to the 10-yard line, a pickup of 1. Right now for an injury update on the Eagles, we throw it down to Don Tollefson on the field. Don?
Hey, Curt, plenty of euphoria on this Eagles bench, but a couple of injuries. Brian Dawkins, the excellent safety, just left with a laceration near his left eye. He's out the rest of the game. Rookie Damon Moore out of Ohio State is in. And you saw John Wellborn, a fairly serious knee injury. They don't have the exact details. He, of course, will not return. They moved Jermaine Mayberry back over to right tackle, but they have little depth at tackle.
Thanks a lot, Charlie. Deuce Staley with the run. Picks up 2 more.
Hey, talk about that offensive line. They brought in Jeff Dellenbach, old Deli in his 14th year this year, to give him some depth. And he had one practice in pads this week, and he said, it's like riding a bike. You know, it feels a little awkward. You know, there he is. You see, he's got the form-fitted shirt.
He was sitting on the beach somewhere, wasn't he?
He's in Fort Lauderdale. He's got a good tan going. But he said it feels good to be in a uniform. He said it also feels good not to have to go through camp. And Andy said any other injuries, he's got another one up his sleeve that he can call, that can come in and play on him on Sunday.
3rd and 4, they need to get to the 19. The ball is out again. Simeon Rice. Rice hits Pederson from behind, and the Arizona Cardinals recover. Jerry Drake, who is playing today in place of Mark Smith, who's out with a contract holdout, gets the fumble recovery.
Simeon Rice here working against Trey Thomas. I mean, just gets the corner. Boy, and what Simeon Rice is able to do is he's able to extend once he turns that corner. Watch him go vertical, now horizontal. Now watch this right to the arm. It's like he has a radar for where that ball is going to be. And that's the 3rd forced fumble that Simeon Rice has had today.
Those long arms of his hard at work today. First down from the 11. Morrell. Not much room out to the 10-yard line.
Well, you know what Simeon Rice does to Trey Thomas is he gets underneath him. He never allows Thomas to grab him. You know, he's always moving on him. There's Simeon Rice right here.
That's why he's smiling. Hey, he's forced 3 turnovers today.
Yeah. Hey, he speaks in a tongue. He calls it Simeon speak. And he gave an evaluation of his entire team. He said, Rice is back.
You understand that in any language.
Yeah.
On 2nd down, Plummer scrambling. Dumps it into the end zone, pass incomplete. Had Frank Sanders and Rob Moore over there, but he was under pressure from Greg Jefferson.
And Plummer's thumb may be bothering him. It may have been hyperextended a couple weeks ago, but Jake still has his wheels. He still's got his legs. And you talk to defensive players around the league, he scares them when he gets outside of the pocket because he's so elusive. He has such good speed. And then the most important thing is he has great accuracy on the run.
They can still get the first down. It's 3rd and 9 from the 10. 3 receivers in. Quick pass caught by David Boston, but certainly not enough for the first down as Al Harris pushes him out of bounds.
Yeah, Al Harris will give him anything underneath, just keep him out of the end zone. Jake Plummer threw that ball on timing. No problem with the thumb on this ball. This ball's in the air before David Boston comes out of his break. Watch when the ball is released. The ball's in the air before Boston turns his head. What you call timing. And Al Harris using the sideline as friend to calf rope Boston to the ground.
Chris Jackie, who has the only points for the Cardinals today, on to attempt the 26-yard field goal. He puts that one through the uprights. So Jackie keeps on scoring, and the Cardinals keep cutting the deficit. Right now it's 21-6 here in the 2nd quarter. 1-hour event that'll change network television forever. Jay Moore stars in the best series of the season, Action. That's what it's called for mature audiences at 9, 8 Central after an all-new shocking crashes and chases on Fox. Chris Jackie kicking off for the Cardinals. A low one. It scoots on through, finally picked up by Eric Bieniemy. Bieniemy gets a nice little return before being brought down by Joel Makovica. The Eagles getting ready to take over, up by 15.
Back at the vet in Philadelphia, the Eagles leading 21-6 in the second quarter. That's Simeon Rice. And right now, the Eagles want to run their offense without any extra protection. Right now, they have to account for Simeon Rice with more than Trey Thomas if they want to keep this lead.
They've got 3 receivers in right now. Flags are down. Torrance Small can't handle the pass. Simeon Rice.
Yeah, Simeon Rice with 3 forced fumbles today. Getting a little jump on that play.
Offside. Number 97 in the defense. A 5-yard penalty. Remains first down.
Here's Simeon trying to get it. Look at the space that he's trying to create with Trey Thomas. He doesn't want to get anywhere near that silo right there. You know, silo with hands that can grab him. He wants to get Trey Thomas out into space. Now, Andy Reid has said, I'm going to run my offense and I'm going to make the defense adjust. I think Andy Reid needs to adjust right now to Simeon Rice.
1st and 5 for the Eagles. Pederson dumps it off. That's Deuce Staley once again. Spins his way across the first down marker. Boy, Staley is making as much noise on offense as Rice is on defense.
But when your defensive end is giving you all kinds of fits, you screen them. You bring them upfield, invite them up, and then throw right underneath them. That time, Trey Thomas, good job of staying in front of him. Nice setup, though. You just see Brzezinski's on the outside. Steve Everett helping out. Now, Deuce Staley breaks a lot of tackles in this league. That time for the first down.
First down from the 41. Staley. 5 yards on the pickup. Simeon Rice comes at you just about every way possible, doesn't he, Baldy?
A lot of change-ups. He's like a great pitcher. This time he comes after him in a 2-point stance. He gets a little quicker jump that way, and he's able to react a little bit better. And he's staying on the backside in case any of that misdirection that the Eagles have run effectively today comes back at him. Disciplined player.
Really big eyes on the game right now for the Eagles. All kinds of shifts going on here. Pederson. Pass complete. Once again, Charles Johnson pushed out of bounds by Tom Knight.
Well, you know, Doug Pederson here is basically just taking what the defense gives him. You could call it dinking and dunking, and it is. All of his balls are coming out horizontal, Curt. They're coming out on screens, the short slants. Now, the Eagles really, right now I think have set the Cardinals up maybe to pump short on a horizontal and go deep, because I think the Cardinal defenders right now are thinking horizontal, and they're looking at all these balls coming out flat. And Andy Reid said, we will go vertical against every team this year.
They need to get to the Arizona 49 for the first down. Pederson under pressure. Scrambles. See where they mark this ball.
Wanted to go vertical that time.
There are flags down as well. Spot of the ball going to be important here, as well as the penalty, obviously.
Pederson, a smart player, knew exactly how far he needed to get for that first down. That's why he was diving at the end of that tackle.
Illegal formation. Number 71 is not lined up on the line of scrimmage. A 5-yard penalty. Repeat, third down.
That's the tackle, Jermaine Mayberry.
Yeah, Jermaine Mayberry at right tackle was too far back in his stance. You see it right here. You see this? You see this left tackle here, Trey Thomas up on the line. Here, Trey Thomas behind, or Jermaine behind that line of scrimmage. He was probably warned by the line judge before that point, because normally they give you a warning before they actually throw the flag. He's trying to get back to protect against Andre Wadsworth.
It's now 3rd and 9. Incomplete. Deuce Staley can't hang on.
Well, the Cardinals were sitting on that dump off to Staley over the middle. Ball was thrown in front of the third down marker. But Deuce has to catch that ball. I mean, Pederson made the right read, right progression that time, went to the open man, took what the Cardinals gave him. Couldn't make the catch.
John Landetta on for the punt. Been a while since we've seen one of these from the Cardinals, or from the Eagles, excuse me. Michael Pittman back to receive for Arizona. Takes it at his 17. Dances, but the music is stopped. Alan Rossum. Next week, following the Fox NFL Sunday pregame show, it's an interconference battle as these Arizona Cardinals battle Dan Marino and the Miami Dolphins. It all starts at noon Eastern, 9 Pacific, right here on Fox.
And Curt, one of the reasons why the Cardinals historically have gotten off to bad starts to start a season is they play a lot of road games to start the season because of the tremendous heat down in the desert. And so, I mean, a lot of times the Cardinals have come up here in September. They got to go down to Miami next week. So they're not at home, feeling that crowd early in the season, getting that advantage.
1st and 10. Ball on the 21. Plummer to Boston. David Boston picks up 6. Troy Vincent on the tackle.
David Boston, a first-round pick from Ohio State. And, everybody talks about the quarterbacks this year that came out in the first round, but Torrey Holt and David Boston, certainly guys that are going to make an impact this year. Boston going down low to grab that wobble ball of Jake Plummer.
Plummer to pass again. Incomplete. There are flags down. That pass intended for Adrian Morrell.
The Eagles are a multiple defensive front. Only rushed 3 players that time.
Apparently that was too much for the Cardinals because they had to hold him.
Well, the Eagles' plan is to rush Mike Mamula, who missed last season with a knee injury, hurt in preseason, missed the whole season, and Hugh Douglas, a big free agent pickup 2 years ago.
Number 73 of the offense, a 10-yard penalty. Repeat, second down.
Left tackle Matt Joyce.
Matt Joyce working against Hugh Douglas, who had an excellent season as well a year ago. He had 12.5 sacks. Most he's ever had in his career. The former defensive rookie of the year in the NFL with the Jets in '95. Likes this defense. Freelances a lot in it.
Plummer dumps it off to Morrell.
Got a setup.
Got some blocking. Gets it out to the 32-yard line. 15 yards on the play and a first down. Also gets us to the 2-minute warning here. Arizona trying to get something going, trailing it 21-6. Halftime report. JB, Terry, Howie, and Chris will have scores and highlights from around the league. That's next on the Visa halftime report. Also, we understand they'll have an injury update. Vinny Testaverde, the quarterback for the Jets, injured in their season opener against New England. Jake Plummer, too high, incomplete, intended for David Boston.
Well covered by Troy Vincent, but great throw by Plummer. Put it right in Boston's mitts. The first real shot down the field that Jake has taken today. Troy Vincent gave him a little pat on the helmet. Yeah, I mean, he's running the skinny post, and he knows there's a lot of yards to make right there if he can squeeze that ball. And Jake is just a regular guy that loves to play this game and plays it with a lot of emotion.
Second down. Pump fake. Plummer going for it with Rob Moore. A little bit too much. Al Harris had him blanketed.
Curt, it was a year ago that Al Harris signed with the Eagles right before the first game from Tampa Bay. And here he is, right in the face of Rob Moore. Bobby Taylor releases him, and Al Harris picks him up, runs right with him. Al Harris looks when Rob Moore looks. Otherwise, he's looking right into the eyes of Rob Moore. Rob Moore just signed this week, said, not too bad missing training camp, but I got my time in the offseason with Jake in May and June when I was running a lot of routes.
On third down, the Cardinals need the 42 for the first. Pass incomplete. Pass intended for Frank Sanders, but Bobby Taylor got a piece of it right before it got there.
Well, the Eagles are playing coverage against Jake on this 2-minute drill. They only rushed 3 guys the last 2 plays, and they dropped 8 into coverage. And Jake this is his 28th start in the NFL, but he's still learning. He said, man, when I first started here, my first start in the NFL was the Eagles here in '97. I didn't know who was blitzing and who was picking him up. And he's still learning this game.
Got player on for his third punt. Allen Rossum with his third fair catch makes it at the 31-yard line. So a 38-yard punt for player. Just over a minute and a half to go here in the first half. Doug Pederson and the Philadelphia Eagles with 3 first-quarter touchdowns. They didn't do that at all last year. As a matter of fact, the last time they scored 3 touchdowns in a single quarter was back in the playoffs in '95 against Detroit.
Well, 2 touchdowns for Doug Pederson, and it took the Eagles 11 weeks last year with Bobby Hoying at the helm to throw 2 touchdown passes. Doug comes in here with the swagger and a lot of confidence in his ability, and as he plays like this, his team will too.
Pederson, quick pass to his tight end Luther Broughton, who scored one of those touchdowns.
Philadelphia with all 3 timeouts remaining, the first official 2-minute drill that Doug Pederson has run. Didn't get the team in the end zone at all in the preseason.
On second down. Oof, ball batted down, almost intercepted by Rob Fredrickson.
Rob Pederson, who had his best season of his career, former #1 pick of the Raiders, last year with Detroit, looked up too soon. Got too happy too soon. You're going to see Rob read this all the way. He has Deuce Staley one-on-one. Ball looks like it was going to be thrown right to Doug Brzezinski before Fredrickson got in there. I don't think Brzezinski's got any hands. Fredrickson never comes off the field. That's why he's so valuable. Stays out there in the nickel and the dime situations like they're in now.
Eagles need to get to the 40 for the first. Ball off the hands of Deuce Staley, maybe hit him in the face mask. I know they say keep your eye on the ball, but ...
You might as well just pitch that ball. They're so close to each other. You might as well just lateral underhanded to him. Good job passing the stunt in the middle. Pederson does a good job of stepping up. Almost tried to put too much touch on that ball. We're going to float it like a feather to Deuce Staley.
Don Landetta to Michael Pittman from his 18. Tries to change directions, but Mike Caldwell once again hits him hard. I think he knows who Mike Caldwell is by now.
You know, Mike Caldwell just signed a contract extension last week, and he's playing like it too. I don't know what was after that trip to the bank to deposit the bonus or these free agent hits here.
Talk about your sounds of the game. Listen to this.
Caldwell, a former Cardinal himself. Mike Caldwell picked up last year in the free agency from the Arizona Cardinals. We had a good season for him in 1997. So he sees the red and the Cardinal on the helmet. A little extra meaning to him.
55 seconds to go, 79 yards away from the end zone. Jake Plummer to Michael Pittman. Pittman can't make the grab. Arizona with 2 of their 3 timeouts.
Now, one thing the Eagles are doing up front is they've got 8 defensive linemen. They're rotating all 8 up there right now. Brandon Whiting is playing the left end in front of Mike Mamula and Greg Jefferson. And right now, you see on the outside, Steve Martin playing the right end position. They're rotating guys, keeping them fresh.
Plummer. This is what he loves to do. Keeps it. Across the 30-yard line, just shy of the first down. Damon Moore with the tackle. Cardinals call a timeout.
Well, one thing about Jake, when he does scramble, his head is always up, and he's always looking downfield. Here's Rob Moore with Troy Vincent. Now, Troy said, you know what, I've been playing against Rob Moore for a long time. Both these guys played against each other when Vincent was with Miami and Rob Moore was with the Jets. But Jake's head is always looking downfield, you know, before he crosses that line of scrimmage. Waiting until the very last second to make that play. Talking about Troy Vincent and Rob Moore. Troy Vincent said, you know, when I'm covering Rob Moore over the field like that, it's like dancing with the music. You know, that's what he equates it to. It's almost like a Zen thing. He's completely in his own zone. He doesn't hear the crowd. He doesn't hear any defensive calls. He said, 85 is my guy. I go and shadow him everywhere he goes.
Plummer picked up 10 on that run, so it's first down from the 31. To the air. Sails high, intended for Frank Sanders.
That ball sailed on take two. That took off on him. Like a fastball pitcher that throws one over the catcher's head. See, good pocket. They only rushed 3 here. They dropped 2 guys out, so you have 6 guys blocking 3. Good protection. Bobby Taylor had a shot for an interception. And Bobby Taylor hasn't had an interception in 2 years.
Jake Plummer was in a groove for a while. He's now 0 for his last 5.
Just heard Jake calling out Lucy. That's the protection. Yeah, they're going to send the line left. Pick up any blitzes.
Ball intercepted. James Darling. And he gets it down inside the 10. The 3rd interception thrown by Jake Plummer here in the first half.
Well, we said that they made a Lucy call which sent the line to the left, but the Eagles blitzed to the right. Willie T comes free, and James Darling drops right into that passing lane. Now, one of the things that people love about these Eagle linebackers is they all can run. Here's Rob Moore on Troy Vincent. No, Rob Moore, a holdout in training camp. No chance to work with Jake through the preseason, those 6 valuable weeks, and the timing isn't there.
33 yards on the return, 1st and goal from the 8. Kevin Turner in motion. The pitch to Deuce Staley, he's going to throw it, looks like. Can't find anyone open. Gets pushed out of bounds by Andre Wadsworth, but it looked like they wanted to run the option there.
They wanted to run the halfback option, and it was a halfback pass all the way. We saw them work on it in practice on Friday. You're going to see Deuce try to sell the run, and now he's going to pull up. Now he's going to... Nice decision, though, with Andre Wadsworth in your face. Not to do anything silly, not to throw that ball into anybody's hands, not to lay it on the ground. Don't want to lose field goal position this close to scoring.
They lose 8 yards, 2nd and goal from the 16. Pederson to Staley. Deuce gets the 8 yards back. Eagles call a timeout. Kwame Lassiter with the tackle.
Well, there's 9 seconds here, Curt. You have a chance for 1 play into the end zone before you send your field goal team out there. Whatever play they run here, the receivers got to get to the end zone. Been impressed by the poise of Doug Pederson today out there.
Absolutely. His first NFL start. He's been around 7 years in the National Football League.
He was cut 6 times. Most of those by the Miami Dolphins. He was cut by an NFL Europe team and sent back home. He's had his share of heartache in this league and only threw 32 career passes coming into today's game. Most of it in that proverbial mop-up duty. But, the confidence never left him. Andy Reid certainly shared it with him.
Well, he certainly had some good quarterbacks to understudy.
Yeah.
Brett Favre in Green Bay, Dan Marino in Miami.
And, they just had a huddle on the sideline. He was there in a lot of pressure situations getting plays in.
From the 8. Pederson overthrows. Had Torres Small open in the end zone. Couldn't quite get it there.
Nice play by Torres Small to get separation. Bad throw by Pederson. You see now, working on Tommy Knight here, the former #1 pick. Well, faked the slant, got what he wanted. Now, you spent a lot of time in preseason and a lot of hot days in July and August throwing that ball to the back of the pylon for that play. You don't want to let that one slip away.
Norm Johnson on for the 25-yard attempt. It goes through. And that's going to be the final play of the first half, and a happy first half it has been for the Philadelphia Eagles. They lead it 24-6. Fox NFL Sunday will continue, though. JB, Terry, Howie, and Chris will be along for the Visa halftime report. after these messages and a word from your local Fox station. 6 in a game that has been mired for both these teams. 7 turnovers in the first half.
Well, one thing is clear, is this is not the same Cardinal team that was in the playoffs last January. Jake Plummer's thumb is bothering him, and it's led to a lot of turnovers.
Well, both these teams have turnovers. When you look at the first half, you see the Eagles started off with Doug Pederson throwing an interception to Aeneas Williams, and that just kind of got the ball rolling for both teams.
Timmy Hawk knocked one loose, and Greg Jefferson picked that one up, and Plummer throwing out on the outside, and Al Harris jumped in front of that one. And Simeon Rice, 3 forced fumbles in the first half. He's kept them in the game. Brian Dawkins gets a pick, and then right before the end of the first half, James Darling right in the passing lane of Jake Plummer.
Well, the Eagles capitalizing on their first half turnovers. When you look at the stat board, though, you see that things aren't really that disparate because of all the turnovers.
No, but, the big thing is the Eagles have scored touchdowns on their turnovers, and they've capitalized, whereas the Cardinals, on their 3 turnovers, only 3 points so far. The Eagles have had to drive a very short field to get their touchdowns.
David Akers getting ready to kick off the second half here. Ball blew off the tee.
Now, those are new balls now. They've been hermetically sealed right until kickoff. David Akers, a left-footed kicker, brought in here strictly to kick off, put this ball in the corners with about a 4.2 hang time.
Mario Bates, deep to receive, along with Michael Pittman for the Arizona Cardinals. It's going to be Bates at his 5. He's got some room across the 30. Finally pushed out of bounds at about the 38-yard line by Dedrick Gels. Arizona trailing 24-6. Our Don Tollefson caught up with the head coach, Vince Tobin, at halftime.
Thanks, Curt. Coach, this is a game of momentum. The Eagles came out fast and just continued to roll a little bit.
Well, it's a game of turnovers. They've done something with their turnovers. We haven't done much with our turnovers. And in order to win in this league, you can't turn the football over. And we got to protect it this half and methodically get back in the ballgame.
Jake Plummer's thumb, we saw him during warm-ups, and he took a little bit of the tape off. Is it hampering his ability to throw the kind of pass he normally does?
I don't think he's throwing, normal, but it's not to a point that it's hurting him. But he just hadn't practiced, and he's got a sore throat.
All right, best of luck in the second half. Thanks, Coach.
All right, Adrian Morrell doesn't get anything on the first gain, and that's not the way you want to start the first half. It's one play, though.
No, you're right, and everybody's talking about the turnovers, and there were 7 of them in the first half, very sloppy, but Adrian Morrell here in Philadelphia last year had the best game he had in his career, 174 yards against the Eagles, 30 yards. This Eagles defense up to the task today.
And he gets another shot, trying to follow Makovica. Gets it out to the 44-yard line, a gain of 3. Jeremiah Trotter on the tackle.
The Cardinals made a lot of moves in the offseason, and one of them was they let Larry Centers go, got picked up by the Redskins, and Joel Makovica, draft pick from Nebraska, gets the call. He's leading the way in there right now. And just a bowling ball with speed in the backfield. I played 8-man football in Nebraska growing up and didn't even get a scholarship to Nebraska.
On third down, they need the 49 for the first, and they get it. Down to the 45-yard line. A pickup of 11, but Jake Plummer got hit hard after the pass to Terry Hardy.
Well, the other move they made at tight end was Chris Gedney, their tight end a year ago, had colon surgery and his career ended. Terry Hardy, who was a 5th-round pick a year ago, now the new tight end, a guy that Jake Plummer has to get used to and build some timing with. And Jake, who missed the last 3 weeks of preseason, not a lot of opportunities.
3 receivers in, Morrell the lone setback. David Boston at the bottom of your screen. Sanders in the slot at the top, along with Rob Moore. Goes that way. Sanders can't hold it. Yeah, my bad.
Frank Sanders and Rob Moore over there on the left side together. The top receiving tandem in the NFL over the last 2 seasons. Sanders, who led the NFC in receptions a year ago, dropped that one.
On second. Changes the play at the line of scrimmage once again.
He changes it, and everybody echoes it outside to the next guy.
David Boston Troy Vincent on the tackle. Boston picks up 6 yards on the pass play.
We talked a little bit in the first half about balls being thrown horizontal. A lot of communication at the line of scrimmage before that play got off. A lot gets said before that play gets completed.
They need to get to the 34 for the first down here. Ball bobbled, but eventually caught by Sanders, but not enough for the first down. Troy Vincent, Bobby Taylor, and Tim Houck had him.
Well, the bobble cost Frank Sanders the first down, because when he first had the ball, you're going to see, here's the first down marker right here. When Frank first touches this football, he's got a first down, but he doesn't catch it clean. There's a first down right there. When he bobbles it, he has to come back to hold on to it. And now the pursuit of the Eagles keeps him away from the first down. And
they're going to go for it on 4th and 4. Once again, they need the 34 for the first. Pass caught. Good enough for the first down. Rob Moore. 4th and 4, and he goes to his standby guy.
Man, first catch for Rob Moore in the biggest situation, working on Troy Vincent. Just goes right to the open spot in the zone here, sits down. Ball delivered nicely by Plummer.
The pitch to Adrian Morrell. Knocked out of bounds by Damon Moore.
Adrian Morrell, I talked about, had 174 yards here in Philadelphia a year ago in that overtime victory. And most of his runs, and what Adrian likes to do, is to cut back. The Eagles are taking the cutback away from Adrian and making him keep it onside. And the way that they're able to keep him from cutting back is they're blitzing the backside, forcing Morrell to stay front side with the ball.
Morrell deep in the backfield. Makovica in at fullback. Changing the play at the line of scrimmage once again. Play clock running down. Plummer complete. Frank Sanders with the catch. Al Harris on the tackle.
Jake Plummer showing his leadership right at the line of scrimmage, making all the calls right at the line based on what he sees. Frank's right over here now. Jake's looking right at him. Wait till he gets in the opening as the Eagles blitzed, and Al Harris not wanting to get beat, laid off him.
9 yards to the 15, Morrell.
Easy.
Picks up 2, Hollis Thomas on the tackle.
They see number 68 in the screen, Yusef Scott. He's a rookie draft pick. The Cardinals kept all their rookies from their draft this year, and Yusef got a lot of time in preseason because of that car accident that Lester Holmes was in, along with Carl Simpson and Ernest Dye.
Simpson no longer with the team, waived when Rob Moore signed his contract on Thursday, and Dye, of course, after having surgery to have his arm reattached, not playing football.
And Yusef Scott in for Lester Holmes at right guard right now.
Plummer hauls it down, dumps it off to Adrian Morrell. That's a pass. It's recovered by Matt Joyce, but it was a little shuffle pass there after he had a little indecision in the backfield.
Yeah, Matt Joyce looked like, he's played some rugby in his life. A nice stretch for that loose ball that was live. Here's Matt Joyce, the left tackle. You see Jake here just improvising, being Jake. Somehow got out of that traffic. That's a hot potato. Matt Joyce, though, shows some agility. Stopping that scrum right there.
12th play of the drive. Cardinals need to get it to the 5 for the first.
With the blitz.
Gets it off, intended for Frank Sanders, makes the catch. Wow. Down inside the 1-yard line.
Frank Sanders working against Bobby Taylor down at the bottom. The ball was purposely underthrown, allowing the receiver to come back and get it. A classic case of a pass that doesn't look pretty here. Jake knows he's feeling pressure. Double pumps on it. That ball's up in the air now. Taylor's trying to find it, turned the wrong way. Ball's underthrown. Look at Sanders hang for that football.
First and goal from the 1, Mario Bates. Now the deep man in the backfield, Menefee, tries to open up a hole, gets one for him into the end zone. Touchdown, Arizona Cardinals.
Now Menefee did his job on the play, too. Mario Bates, their short yardage specialist, punches it in from the 1, but set up by the excellent play from Plummer to Sanders. Showing those guys haven't lost any of their timing together.
So Mario Bates with the 1-yard touchdown run gives the Cardinals their first touchdown of the game, and they're going for the 2-point conversion.
They're trying to bring this back to 24-14, making a 10-point game.
Menefee and Morrell are the backs in the backfield. Moore at the bottom of your screen.
Moore here. Some sort of a fade against Troy Vincent.
Plummer goes that way. Pass incomplete. Intended for Frank Sanders, so they don't get the conversion, but they have closed the gap a little bit more. 12 unanswered points by the Arizona Cardinals. They now trail 24-12. So the Arizona Cardinals cutting into that lead by Philadelphia. It's now 24-12, very early here in the third quarter. Chris Jackie set the kickoff to Allen Rossum and Eric Bieniemy. That's going to be Rossum. Rossum across the 25. Kwame Lassiter brings him down. Eagles with their first possession of the second half, trying to come back against Arizona. Andy Reid's debut as an NFL head coach. His Philadelphia Eagles up by 12, but they scored 3 touchdowns in the first quarter. Nothing but a field goal in the final play of the first half since then.
They haven't really engineered a drive all day, taking it down the field.
Deuce Staley in motion. Pederson. Ball falls incomplete. Pass intended for Charles Johnson.
There's the play that set up the Mario Bates 1-yard touchdown run. It was a throw from Jake Plummer to Frank Sanders, working against Bobby Taylor. Bobby Taylor, you're going to see on this play, the double pump now, which allows Sanders to get some separation. But Bobby Taylor down here at the bottom gets lost on the field, turns the wrong way in here rather than out here where he could have gotten a hand on that ball.
The pitch to Staley on second down, wrapped up by Simeon Rice. The Arizona scoring drive for their first touchdown of the game. 13 plays, 59 yards, just under 6 minutes. The big play, as we told you, Frank Sanders on the big catch.
Well, that's the second long drive of the Cardinals today. Their first field goal today was a 14-play drive. There's the intense eyes of Simeon Rice.
Third down, the Eagles need to get to the 38 for the first. Flags are down. Pederson scrambling, gets the first down yardage and then some, out to the 46-yard line, an 18-yard run by Doug Pederson, but there are flags. Right now, let's go to Los Angeles and James Brown for an NFL update. JB.
Washington looking to make amends. Redemption for Stephen Davis, who blew a touchdown early with the fumble. He scores here also on the 2-point conversion. Washington on top of Dallas, 21-14 in the third. Back to Curt and Brian.
Penalties decline. First down.
Simeon Rice lined up offsides. The penalty obviously declined after the 18-yard run by Doug Pederson.
You see Simeon Rice's head is up. He's looking right at Pederson, but he's not looking at the ball right here. Lined up offsides and cheating up now. Cheating up on Trey Thomas on the play. Trying to get into the big man a little quicker.
First down. Pederson with time. Another flag is down. Pass intended for Dietrich Gels.
Yeah, maybe a little illegal contact on Corey Chavis. Gels is the one guy on the Eagles roster that has great speed, that makes the defensive back think about going deep.
Illegal contact. Number 25 of the defense. A 5-yard penalty. And a first down.
Now, you're going to see, here's Chavis right here. He's looking in at Doug Pederson. They run the slant. He slips on the play to try and catch up now. He grabs Gels. Gels with great speed gets behind him. Great effort for the football, but that ball's thrown on timing. Pederson's thrown it to a spot in the illegal contact, which allows for the first down now, prevented Gels from getting to the ball.
And it's a first down at Arizona's 48-yard line. Pederson, quick pass to Charles Johnson. Johnson out there, covered by, well, Simeon Rice wasn't on the coverage there, but he dropped back in the zone blitz on this play.
Well, this is an audible by Pederson. You see right here, Simeon Rice now. This is zone blitz. He's going to drop back into coverage. He looks like a linebacker. He covers a lot of ground like a gazelle out there. Corey Chavis missed the tackle, and Rice had to come from his defensive end position. You talk about covering some ground. From his end position to the sideline.
Pederson. Ball incomplete. Pass intended for Deuce Staley. There's Simeon Rice out there again in pass coverage.
Boy, Doug Pederson, though, brought in here because of his knowledge of this offense. Watch the tight end, Luther Broughton, right here. He's going to be down here in the middle of the field, wide open on this play. There he is. That's where the ball needed to go.
Well, Rice was the man that was covering Deuce Staley on that play once again.
Oh, we've seen Rice force 3 fumbles. We've seen him in a 2-point and a 3-point stance. We've seen him make plays on the sideline and cover backs out of the backfield.
3rd and 2. Pederson. Pass is called incomplete, intended for Brian Finneran after a great pickup on the blitz by Kevin Turner, the fullback. Gave him time.
Again, Simeon Rice, though, from the backside. You're going to see 97 coming here. Nice block by Kevin Turner, buying a little bit of time. Doug Pederson threw that lookout pass that time. Threw it and looked out.
Landetta, who's had a good afternoon punting, with a short field this time to Michael Pittman. This is what Landetta's good at, this little pooch kick. Gets it inside the 10-yard line. And there's Dietrich Gels. 37 yards on the punt, but don't mind that. It was absolutely perfect as it gets spotted at the 3. Biggest night this year, the Emmys come to Fox. Be There as television honors its finest, the Emmy Awards. Pre-show coverage begins tonight at 7, live on Fox. It's also broadcast in Spanish on your SAP channel. In vivo en español.
Well, you translate that for me then.
Live in Spanish. First down from the 4. Boy, Adrian Morrell gets absolutely nowhere. Let's go to Los Angeles and James Brown for an update on that barn burner between the Cowboys and Redskins.
Curt, Cowboy fans, boy, not too happy right now. Look at Stephen Davis, stiff arm move. 2nd touchdown of the day for Stephen Davis. Talk about redemption. Redskins on top, 28-14 in the 3rd. Back to Curt and Brian.
Man, what a year this might be in the NFC East. You got the Redskins, pulling one against the Cowboys. The Eagles looking strong here today. Of course, everyone expects Arizona to be good. The Giants have had a great preseason offensively.
Well, the Redskins made some changes, and Terry Allen's no longer there. Skip Hicks isn't there. Stephen Davis won that job, and that stiff arm looked pretty good there.
2-yard loss on the last one. Mario Bates gets the 2 back, and that's about it. Jeremiah Trotter leading this defense, and the crowd's into it now.
And that's the... You see Plummer taking his snap here with that hand. Nowhere to run, and right there, Jeremiah Trotter making his first NFL start. Won that middle linebacking position this preseason from 2nd-round pick Barry Gardner. Very competitive. Great strength and size for the young player.
They tried Bates again. Mario Bates hit hard at the 5-yard line. James Darling. Man, this is a new look Philadelphia defense. Look at the blood on Darling.
He draws a lot of blood. Look at the middle linebacker, how close he is. He's like Matt Millen when he played linebacker, right on the line of scrimmage. A defensive guard playing linebacker, And all three linebackers here, Darling, Trotter, and Thomas, at the ball. And that's what these linebackers bring to Philly. Great speed and sideline-to-sideline motors.
Third down, Arizona needs to get to the 14-yard line for the first. Out of his end zone, Plummer to Morrell. Adrian Morrell gets the first down and then some. Out to the 24-yard line. A pickup of 18 and a first down.
Well, I was watching Jake Plummer after the play, too, and he was pumping his fist, getting them out of the end zone and hanging on to the football. Nice execution. You're going to see Lester Holmes back in at right guard. Nice job by Morrell. Had a good season for the Cardinals a year ago in the open field, making people miss. Breaking a couple of tackles there. Getting the first down. Getting them out of that danger zone deep in their territory.
Gets them a first down out to the 24. Some breathing room this time. Here comes the blitz. He reads it, overthrows David Boston, who was open. Troy Vincent came from the corner that time.
Yeah, Troy Vincent said, in preseason, we didn't show anything. We showed nothing of our arsenal, and today we're pulling it all out. On this play, Troy Vincent comes in, starts cheating in, and forces this high throw of Jake Plummer. Now they got to rotate the safeties up here. Yeah, but Jimmy Johnson, the defensive coordinator, coming off the corner that time for pressure.
Morrell. Adrian Morrell gets around the corner. Picks up another first down out to the 37-yard line, maybe the 38. And Al Harris gets him.
There's following his left guard, Chris Dishman. You're going to see him. You know, this is the medicine ball now. The medicine ball that can run, though. Yeah, he's pretty round. You know, that's just bowling. That's just going down and knocking down pins. Adrian Morrell setting up real nice on the outside. And Chris Dishman, who missed a lot of the preseason with the dislocated elbow. You can see that right elbow is all bandaged up. He's a Nebraska guy, though, man. He knows about corn and football. That's it. No, and that's where he belongs.
That's all you need to know if you live in Nebraska, the two livelihoods. Adrian Morrell picks up two. Jeremiah Trotter on the tackle. You call Dishman a bowling ball. How many bowling balls the Cardinals have? They got Makovica, another Nebraska. Everybody from Nebraska, bowling ball, is that it?
Now, you know, I'm telling you, when you eat that kind of Midwest food every day, you get round. You know, and you get proud of it. You know, Makovica, though, he's got some arms that are round, too. You got about 19-inch pipes right there.
2nd and 8. Plummer. Frank Sanders can't hold it. Sanders had some trouble holding on to the ball today. He's had a couple of passes actually hit him in the hand during the numbers that he hasn't been able to haul in.
I think, you know, the timing is off, really. I mean, Jake missed the last two preseason games, practiced sparingly this week. You know, tried to practice with the splint on his hand, a couple different things. I don't think the timing is right what it needs to be completely effective right now.
Well, he needs to get it to the 48-yard line for the first down here. Dumps it off to Michael Pittman, and Pittman gets the first down, crosses midfield. William Thomas finally pushes him out of bounds, only after a 13-yard pickup.
Boy, this is a clinic on how to run screens on this drive. You're going to see right here, just a three-man rush. He drops out. You got Hugh Douglas coming in. He gets cut. Al Harris takes a bad angle to Pittman, and Pittman is like solid granite. About 19.5-inch arms. He's chiseled.
No round on him.
No, nothing round. They said he should be in the Louvre, like in a glass case. Should just like stare at it. The Louvre is like a museum. I don't know, something like that.
Oh, good. Lou who? 1st and 10. Reverse. David Boston. Boy, the Eagles sniffed that one out. Mike Mamula on the tackle.
Trying any way they can to get David Boston the ball. Now, sometimes your quarterback gets involved in the reverse. But, you know, when you have an injured right thumb, you don't really want a lot of contact. Pittman handing off. Now, you notice Boston doesn't follow Jake Plummer. He disappears from the picture. Boston coming in. Right now, Troy Vincent is yelling at the defense, reverse, reverse. Nice play by Mamula, staying home.
Picks up about half a yard. Plummer. pass is complete. Terry Hardy, the tight end, making his first NFL start. He had no catches before today. He's already got 2.
Well, remember how we talked about in the first half how both teams were throwing the ball just horizontally to the sides? Well, they do that on their screens, but Jake right now is finding some weaknesses in the middle. And one of the weaknesses is these linebackers playing so close to the line of scrimmage. And they're getting behind him right now.
From the 35, Morrell picks up a yard.
That's the cutback of Morrell. He likes to do. That time, Greg Jefferson, though, staying disciplined. Talked about the Cardinals having 2 long drives today of 14 and 13 yards. They're marching here. They started this drive at the 4-yard line. Remember, Jake Plummer's first action in the NFL was in the 4th quarter against the Eagles here at the Vet in 1997. His first drive, 98 yards against the Eagles for a touchdown.
Frank Sanders in motion. Plummer to Hardy. Open. Gets it down to the 21-yard line. A pickup of 14. Troy Vincent on the tackle.
It's like Jake Plummer is in the Eagles defensive huddle right now. He's just counter-punching them. They blitzed the middle of that line right there, and that time Jake came with a nice bootleg, finding Hardy over the middle. No, punch, counter-punch.
Time of possession this half, I think Arizona may be leading it by just a little bit.
And Jake is finding a rhythm, and he's done this a lot in 28 starts in the NFL.
Morrell. Adrian Morrell, 5 yards.
The other thing is they're getting some play right now out of Adrian Morrell. Like I said, last year at this game he had 174 yards in him. But he's starting to break some tackles now, and there's a little bit more running room in there as Jake is loosening him up over the middle with some of these passes. That defense has been out on the field for a long time on a hot day in this 3rd quarter. And I'm starting to see the Eagles miss tackles that they weren't missing in the first half. A lot of that is fatigue.
Play action. Plummer keeps it. Down to the 14-yard line. He gets 2 the hard way. Going to be the final play of the 3rd quarter. The 1st quarter of the 2nd half. That's where I was going with that. Hey, it's the end of the 3rd quarter. The Eagles lead at 24-12, but Arizona's marching. Fox NFL Sunday will continue after a word from your local Fox station. Curt, Menefee, and Brian Baldinger welcoming you back to Philadelphia, where so far in the 2nd half it's been all Cardinals.
Yeah, well, we said at the open, Curt, that in Jake we trust, and Jake is warming up. This defense is playing better. They're keeping the offense on the field right now. And remember, Jake Plummer, in 27 starts coming into today, has had 9 fourth-quarter comebacks, and he's set for that today to try and make it his 10th.
Well, so far on this drive, they've already run 14 plays in 7 minutes off the clock. They had the ball all but less than 2 minutes of the 3rd quarter.
This is the 3rd drive today of 13 plays or more. That defense has been out there a long time. It's fatigue setting in.
They need to get to the 11 for the first here, though. Plummer. There's another drop by Frank Sanders. We talk about the Cardinals dominating the 3rd quarter. I mean, they had the ball for everything except a minute 58.
Yeah, I mean, look at this. I mean, just complete domination right now, and of course, the time of possession. But they haven't really gotten enough points out of that. As much as they dominated, the Eagles still up 12 right now. And Jackie out here trying to attempt his 3rd field goal. The difference in this game is the Cardinals are kicking field goals. The Eagles are scoring touchdowns.
Well, Jackie on for his 3rd attempt of the day. He's made the first 2. This one from 32 out. And it's good. So once again, a field goal by the Arizona Cardinals. Cuts it to 24-15 here very early in the final quarter. City of brotherly love, loving the score right now. Eagles on top 24-15, but they haven't done much here in the 2nd half. Just their 2nd possession of the half so far. Taken by the big man, Brandon Whiting. He's probably going to keep that ball. He didn't keep it, huh?
Yeah, he didn't know what to do with that ball.
Yeah, he's never carried before.
Put it
What do I
underneath that
do
jersey
now?
and hide it. Here early in the fourth quarter in Philadelphia with the Eagles leading the Cardinals 24-15. That's Andre Wadsworth. Been a little quiet out here today, and they lost John Welborn, the right tackle, early in the first quarter. Jermaine Mayberry out there fighting him pretty good right now.
Deuce Staley picks up 3 yards. Rob Fredrickson on the tackle. The Eagles offense trying to get something going in their one possession so far in the second half. Held it for less than 2 minutes, and this is the first time they've seen it since then.
I thought part of the Eagles' success today was going to be in the middle, going up against the middle of that Arizona Cardinal defensive line, and they just ran Deuce right in the middle that time. That's where they need to win.
Play action. Pass incomplete, intended for Jed Weaver, the 7th-round pick out of Oregon. Right now to James Brown in the Fox Network Center in Los Angeles for an NFL update. JB.
Curt and Brian, no Deion Sanders. Washington capitalizing. Take a look at this great adjustment by Albert Connell. Great call in. Turns out to be a 50-yard pass play for the score. Washington on top, but Emmitt Smith has helped to narrow it. It's now 35-21. Washington back in the fourth. Curt and Brian.
And that's Brad Johnson brought in from the Minnesota Vikings, and I know Norv Turner was excited about getting Brad in there. The question is, can Brad Johnson stay healthy for a season? He does, and they're big.
Can the Eagles get a first down here? They're not going to do it on this play. Jerry Drake with the sack.
Now, they lost Mark Smith and Eric Swan. Swan because of injury, Smith because of a holdout. Jerry Drake, a free agent. First sack of his career right there. First sack for a defensive tackle for the Cardinals outside of Smith and Swan in a long time.
In more than 2 years.
Yeah, it came right up the middle that time. Good pressure on the outside, forcing Pederson to stay in. Allowing Drake to finish it.
Landetta. Michael Pittman. Can't hold on to it. Picks it back up again. Mike Caldwell with another tackle on special teams. The Cardinals take over, trailing at 24-15. That's Lester Holmes on the sideline for the Arizona Cardinals. Actually back in the game now. One of the guys who was involved in a lot of offseason turmoil for this team. We'll get into that in just a minute. Right now it's first down from the 37. Plummer. To Morrell. Dances out to the 40-yard line before Troy Vincent gets it. We talked about the holdouts and all the problems the Cardinals had. Maybe the biggest, obviously, because it involved life and death, was a bad accident that they had involving a couple of their players. Ernest Dye, who was expected to contribute on the offensive line, had to have his arm reattached. Carl Simpson, who was defensive tackle, they had to release this week. Lacerations on the head. Same thing for Holmes here.
Yeah, well, Lester just got back to practice this week. He wears the shield on the eyes. Former #1 draft pick of the Eagles. I saw him before the game. A lot of plastic surgery to put that face together.
Michael Pittman can't hold on to it. And so Holmes is here. Simpson was supposed to be here until Rod Morris signed just a couple of days ago. The one guy who is not Ernest Dye, and Don Tollefson talks a little bit about him.
Absolutely right, Curt. The number 75 on the Cardinals baseball caps that the guys wear when they're on the sidelines is in tribute to Ernest Dye. He is in their thoughts and prayers. He has a lot of rehabilitation ahead of him. They know he won't have a football career most likely, but they're hoping for a relatively healthy lifestyle. Back to you, Curt.
And he's happy just to have his arm reattached, Curt. A lot of emergency surgery to get that done.
Cardinals need to get to the 47 for the first. Pass batted down by Troy Vincent, intended for David Boston.
Yeah, that'll make Troy Vincent dance to the music a little bit. A pass defensed on a key third down, finally stopping the Cardinals. But Troy right in David Boston now. Nice job of reacting to this ball in the air and just getting that right hand stretched out enough to stop that reception. David Boston will learn how to use that body to shield him a little bit better to bring that ball in.
He's a rookie. First game. He'll learn. Got players. Fourth punt. To Allen Rossum. Takes a Philadelphia bounce. Goes out of bounds. So another short punt by Player. Troy Vincent and the Eagles still on top, 24-15. We've got more football for you coming up next. Double header action. I got to take this tongue back and get a new one. You know, it's the start of the season. It's been in the offseason, Ben. Hasn't quite worked. But the Vikings and Falcons hoping to get it on once again in their rematch of the NFC Championship game from last year. Randy Moss and Jamal Anderson, two of the best offensive players in all of football last season.
I'll be tuned in.
Deuce Staley having himself a nice afternoon. Zach Walsh on the tackle.
Yeah, just dancing and picking his way through there as Deuce can do. And a guy that's only 220 pounds, though, very durable, carried the ball over 300 times a year ago. But just the way and the style of his run, he makes a lot of people miss, and he breaks a lot of tackles.
Started off on fire this afternoon, as did this Eagle offense. They've cooled off a bit since then, but now it's 2nd and 5. Staley again. Flags are thrown. Rob Fredrickson on the tackle. Staley close to the first down.
Yeah, gonna have a holding here against the Eagles. Away from the football on the backside of this play. And that's what hurts, because it had nothing to do with the play.
Ron Winter, our referee.
Holding. Number 61 of the offense. A 10-yard penalty. Repeat, 2nd down.
Steve Everett, who made it through his first full training camp with the Eagles since he signed here 3 years ago, right here in the middle. He'll be working up against on the double team with Brzezinski. Oh, yeah. He got that left paw in there a little bit too long. This year, they're going to be working that a little bit more, going against Rashad Swinger on that play. That hand's outside. It has to get right back inside.
Bats him up 10 yards. Bailey. Deuce gets it back. Gets the first down across midfield down to the 45-yard line. A 23-yard run by Deuce Staley.
Yeah, Steve Everett acquits himself for the holding on the play before. Here's Everett working against Rashad Swinger this time. Deuce is going to cut right off of Everett's block. Everett pushes him by the hole. Now, good job over there by Jermaine Mayberry, sealing the defense, allowing Staley to cut back.
Deuce Staley with 89 yards rushing in this game. A couple of touchdowns, one rushing, one receiving.
Last year with 1,065 yards, only 100-yard plus rushing day last season.
Well, he may get a shot at it this afternoon. Picks up 4 more.
It was Deuce Staley and Marshall Faulk, the only 2 guys in the league to lead their team in rushing and receiving. Deuce Staley, 57 catches out of the backfield a year ago. A very versatile back. Former 2nd-round pick 2 years ago. Backed up Ricky Waters his first year here. He got his opportunity last year when Ricky went to Seattle.
Well, he was supposed to split time with Charlie Garner, but Deuce became too valuable.
You don't split a guy when, he's a full-time back.
Gets the carry again. Simeon Rice catches him from behind this time.
Trey Thomas having trouble with Simeon Rice in the pass and the run as well. Trey Thomas at 350 pounds, an enormous man, very good agility, but when a guy is in front of you and then he's not in front of you, he never gets his hands and his paws into him. Never can grab anything. It's like, it's sort of like playing, in that game in July 4th. When you try to get the watermelon across the pool, but it's greased with Vaseline, you can't grab it.
3rd and 4. Ball is tipped. Incomplete. Pass intended for Charles Johnson, but that one was tipped at the line of scrimmage.
There was no pressure in Pederson's face, but the hands got up. You see it looking from your living room here as the Eagles slide left. That was Rashad Swinger. Yeah, Rashad Swinger. Really good series by Swinger that time. Making his presence felt. Got himself a sack. Tipped the ball and forced a holding call by the Eagles.
You've been talking about Simeon Rice dancing all day. Maybe it's swing music now. He got Swinger in there. Got to try, right? Inside the 5 once again, but they can't stop it. Diedrich Giles tried to keep it there. Landeta with another pooch punt. Just a little bit too much this time. So the Cardinals will take over from their own 20, trailing it 24-15. The Arizona Cardinals from their own 20 down by 9.5 minutes left to play here in Philadelphia.
Down 9 here with a little over 9 minutes, Curt. The Cardinals' longest pass play today was Adrian Morrell out of the backfield on a screen, 19 yards. They haven't really tried the Eagles deep today.
And Morrell gets it this time, caught in the backfield. Going to lose a couple of yards. James Darling was the first to hit him, but Troy Vincent gets credit for the tackle.
Look at Joel Makovica there, talking to Morrell.
Hey, next week, following the Fox NFL Sunday pregame show, it's an interconference battle of the Arizona Cardinals, these very same ones, battle Dan Marino and the Miami Dolphins. It all starts at noon Eastern, 9 Pacific, right here on Fox.
I'll buy a ticket to that one. Reno and Plummer. The heir apparent.
Passing of the quarterback,
yeah, passing of the torch.
Plummer under pressure this time, brought down for the sack. Hugh Douglas.
Yeah.
12.5 last year, number 1 on 99.
Yeah, it just collapsed. Matt Joyce right into the lap of Jake Plummer. You see, here's the matchup right here, working against Matt Joyce. And Hugh Douglas, known, I've played against him. I mean, he's great leg drive. Hugh Douglas, a high-energy guy. We talked with him for hours at a time, running that videotape, what we could have done to turn that game around and won.
Cardinals need to get to the 30 for the first. Plummer has the time, throws to Rob Moore. Moore was fighting with Al Harris the whole time.
Yeah, you know, talking to Andy Reid about Hugh Douglas, he said Hugh Douglas has never sat in the front row in a meeting since he's been there. But on Friday they had a team meeting and Hugh Douglas was in the front row, and Andy Reid wears his Super Bowl ring from Green Bay at meetings. And he said, you know what? He said he saw Hugh Douglas stare at that ring for the entire meeting. And he said that's what the goal is all about. And Douglas, who played on a 1-15 team in New York and 3-13 last year, wants a chance at it.
Allen Rossum doesn't get far on the punt return. Kobe Reinhardt brings him down. Eagles taking it over after the 36-yard punt. Kevin Turner deciding to take a breather and sit in the stands, I think, for a little while here in Philadelphia.
No. The Eagle fans come passionate. You know, first thing, it starts with the gloves. You know, forget about the face. You know, he doesn't have the matching green, you know, with the new Eagles midnight green, but it's 90 degrees here in Philadelphia today, and he's got his gloves on because he believes there's a reason to believe. And that's what Andy Reid brings to this, a fierce intensity on the sideline throughout practice.
Deuce Staley, who scoots underneath the line, picks up 5 yards.
Deuce looked like he was playing a little limbo there. He went low, then lower, and came out still running like he got shot out of a tunnel. Jeff Lurie, you know, the owner of the Philadelphia Eagles, has endured a rough season last year, but went to the playoffs his second year here with Ray Rhodes at the helm, second and third years. Things kind of got lost a little bit there, a little lack of focus. They lost John Gruden last year to the Oakland Raiders. They had a switch at the offense coordinator. Dana Bible came in for John, then Bill Musgrave. A lot of confusion on offense a year ago. That doesn't exist with Andy Reid.
Bailey spins his way back to the line of scrimmage. Tommy Bennett on the tackle.
Now these defensive tackles for Arizona taking advantage of the opportunity. That time Jerry Drake put the first hit on Deuce from that left defensive tackle position. Now here comes the substitutions. And Drake stays on the field on this third down, but you know, a chance with Eric Swan out and Mark Smith holding out to get some playing time.
On third down, Eagles need to get to the 35 for the first. Ball falls incomplete. Looks like someone ran the wrong route. Luther Broughton cut inside, pass went outside.
Yeah, a lot of frustration by the fans here as the Eagles unable to put together a drive here in the second half. They've had 4 strikeouts, meaning 3 plays and out in the second half. And Andy Reid getting into Luther Broughton's face. Luther, of course, only been here since Tuesday, but Andy Reid expects him to know the offense.
Don Landetta on the punt to Michael Pittman. Landetta. Once again, he bounces it inside the 5, but it bounces through the end zone. Landetta's had an excellent afternoon doing that.
Well, Dietrich Gels, who was covering that punt, he's new at that position. He's got to get a feel for how that ball bounces.
Well, coming up next, doubleheader action on Fox. It's a rematch of last year's NFC Championship game. Randy Moss and the Vikings looking for revenge as they battle Jamal Anderson and the Atlanta Falcons. It's all next right here on Fox. And a lot of people talking about whether or not Atlanta's a fluke last year, or some even Minnesota. I mean, those two teams played the schedule. They were the best two teams in the NFC.
I think Minnesota gets hurt, though, this year by the loss of Brian Billick. I think when teams start to slip a little bit, just see what happens to that coaching staff. They lost Chip Myers, and prayers out to Chip Myers and his family for him passing away this offseason. But losing Brian Billick, I think, is a big factor in that offense.
First down from their 20. Plummer. Pass complete. Terry Hardy. Ball loose. Hardy made the catch but couldn't hold on. They're still trying to sort this one out.
5th turnover for the Cardinals today. And boy, did Hardy get popped. Hey, guy's trying to stab a crouton in the bottom of a salad bowl right there.
Look at all the officials down there on their knees trying to sort this out.
Yeah, that's a couple of vultures going after a carcass. When you're at the bottom of the pile, you're trying to wrestle that ball away before the referees can see it.
Doesn't matter who grabbed it first, it's who has it last, right?
Yeah, nobody's made any kind of a call yet.
And Arizona keeps it. Arizona recovered, so it will be 2nd down.
That's Lester Holmes at the bottom of the pile. See, Hardy's going to come out on the outside. He just gets leveled right here by James Darling along with Brandon Whiting. That's Houck going over the top. He doesn't see the ball. Lester Holmes, the right guard, came up with it.
Gives Arizona a 2nd down from the 27. Morrell going to lose 7. William Thomas, the longest tenure of any professional athlete in the city of Philadelphia right now, and he doesn't play like an old man at all.
No, he doesn't. In his 8th year out of Texas A&M. You see, that's Willie T coming in from this backside linebacker position. You know, what he said he liked about this defense was he got a chance to freelance this year. Go after it and make plays. And you know, that's what he did. He just picked a hole right there. He slivered through it and got his hands on Morrell.
Arizona needs the 30-yard line for the first. They pick up the blitz. Pass incomplete. Intended for Rob Moore.
Yeah, but Plummer was a late hit that time by Al Harris, who came off the corner. I think the Cardinals are going to get a first down after this. Personal foul against the Eagles on Jake Plummer, the quarterback. Ron Winter, the referee.
Personal foul, roughing the passer, number 31 of the defense, 15-yard penalty, and a first down.
Now here's Al Harris coming off the corner here. A long run. Now Plummer had gotten rid of that football, blitzing all the way from the deep corner position, a long way to go. That ball was out of there, and Harris going to say, I couldn't pull off.
Plummer pump fakes, goes downfield for Rob Moore. Moore holds it in. What a play. Suddenly, the Arizona Cardinals, with less than 5 minutes to play, are back in it thanks to the 46-yard pass play from Jake Plummer to Rob Moore.
Rob Moore right up here at the top of the screen, getting inside position on Troy Vincent. Have not stretched the field with a deep pass yet today. Rob Moore looks like he's in form right now.
Down to the 18-yard line, Morrell changes direction. loses a yard. This is something that the Arizona Cardinals are used to with Jake Plummer in the backfield. He's got 9 fourth-quarter comebacks in just 28 NFL starts. You look at the greats like Marino, and you look at Elway, who has the most comebacks. After his first 26 starts, he only had 3 comebacks. So Plummer already 3 times that many.
Yeah, I think he carries a little bit of that magic dust in his shoes.
He's looking for 10. Into the end zone, touchdown, Arizona Cardinals. Rob Moore on the 20-yard reception reaches out and holds it in.
It was the exact same play as the previous pass. A post right over the middle, and Rob Moore laid out on both of them. And talking to Jake Plummer about Rob Moore yesterday, he said he's a human highlight film. He was half of our highlights a year ago. And these are 2 in succession. Good protection up front. Perfect spiral, no wobble on that ball. Maybe that thumb is starting to loosen up a little bit. No interceptions this half.
Chris Jackie on for the extra point. It's good. Rob Moore just signed on Thursday. 2 huge plays on that drive, getting the last 86 yards and the touchdown.
Here's he going against Troy Vincent right here. Troy looking right in at Plummer. Rob Moore gets up on him, gives him a little stutter, gets behind the safety, Tim Hawk. And Rob Moore, who said, I keep a book on every quarterback in the league, has a book on Troy Vincent, Al Harris, Bobby Taylor here. You get him a little stutter just to get behind him. That's splitting the double team. That's pretty. Jake Plummer has his team right back in this football game. No turnovers here in the second half. In Jake we trust.
How about those last 2 plays by Rob Moore? Catches one for 46 yards, 47, and then the 20-yarder.
Yeah, and on the other series in the third quarter today, his first catch today was on a 4th down. You know, Rob Moore, even though he missed all of training camp, I thought he'd be the difference in this game because he has the freshest legs on the field, Curt. Did not go through training camp. Wasn't out there being beaten down, and he looked fresh on those last 2 plays.
And this is late in the game when a lot of the guys are starting to tire who haven't played full games throughout the preseason. We talked about Tim Hawk in there, who was on the coverage there. He's only played 1 quarter in each of the games because he's been nursing a knee injury. Jackie. Allen Rossum. Out across the 30-yard line. .353 left to play. The Eagles trying to nurse a 2-point lead. Doug Pederson has struggled here in the second half.
Yeah, he has. You know, he just hasn't been able to convert the 3rd downs. He's had a couple of drops in there. You know, he hasn't been able to get anything going here on the offense, and that's his job. I mean, he steps into the huddle. Oh, this is just a completely one-sided game in the second half.
They start from the 32. Deuce Staley. Gang tackled at the line of scrimmage. Simeon Rice, the first one to get it.
You know, when Jake Plummer makes plays, you know, the entire team rises up, Curt. You see this time to time. You feel the difference. You know, they said when Rob Moore got signed, it felt like the whole team, you know, kind of lifted a little bit. And when they said that Jake Plummer was going to start, he said everything at that facility in Arizona, everybody got a little lighter. They walked a little faster. He's taking a little missed break himself right now, but the defense feels his presence when he makes the kind of plays he just did with Rob Moore.
Second down from the Eagles. Play action. Pass caught. That's the tight end, Luther Broughton. Gets enough for the first down.
Yeah, and he stays in bounds too, Curt, so the clock runs. And the Eagles with a much-needed first down to hold on to the football. A lot of pressure on Doug Pederson on his bootleg, but buys enough time running away. You see here's Broughton right here, along with Jed Weaver. Broughton, a good job of getting away. Pederson in front of Andre Wadsworth gets rid of that football. Broughton, who ran a wrong route on the last third down last series.
First and 10 from the 43. Daly Gets 4 yards on the carry. Gets him over the 100-yard mark for the afternoon.
Cardinals burn a timeout here. They're going to stop it before the 2-minute warning.
Deuce Staley now with 102 yards. So he's already equaled the number of 100-yard games that he had last season.
Second 100-yard game in his career. You know, what he would love to do in this situation is to be able to control this football on the ground. Run on second down and pick it up and move the chains. It'd be a great feeling for a young offensive line up front. And of course, Vince Tobin, longtime defensive coordinator in this league with the Chicago Bears and Indianapolis Colts. Now the head coach here in his 4th season. That's his task to stop it. Looking at Trey Thomas over here, who struggled in that first half with Simeon Rice. Looks like he's settled down in the second half. You see, look at the helmet, though. The helmet's been chipped up here. A lot of contact. That was a fresh helmet when he came out today.
Just another day at work in the NFL.
Yeah, just an office. Just an office job, right?
2nd and 6 from the 47. Kevin Turner, the fullback. Plows his way for a yard, maybe. Andre Wadsworth on the tackle. And it reaches the 2-minute warning. So Arizona gets another timeout. Philadelphia try to run this clock down as much as they possibly can. 2 minutes left to play. The Eagles leading the Cardinals 24-22. This is probably the biggest down of Doug Pederson's NFL career. He's been around 7 years, but his first start, 3rd and 4, only up by 2.
Yeah, and you talk about the pressure on him right here. They need to convert this 3rd down to hold on to that ball. You don't want to put this in Jake Plummer's hands if you're an Eagle fan, because of his past history in the 4th quarter comeback.
Got across the 47 of Arizona for the first. There he goes downfield, pass intercepted. Kwame Lassiter crosses midfield, and Arizona's going to have a shot. Brian Finneran had the ball, hit him in the hands, bobbled it, and Lassiter pulled it out of the air.
The Eagles, who have been conservative throwing the football all day, have not stretched the field yet. Go for the home run here on 3rd down to Brian Finneran, streaking down the left sideline, and Pederson threw a strike. Although I think Corey Chavis got a little hand on it, and Kwame Lassiter, who tied the NFL in interceptions last year with 8, comes up with his first and biggest of the year. Yeah, Corey Chavis got a hand right in the breadbasket of Finneran, and Kwame Lassiter comes up with a huge play.
And a 32-yard return, so it's 1st and 10 from the 43. Arizona down by 2. 4 receivers in the game. They're calling the play at the line of scrimmage. Plummer to Michael Pittman. Wow. Pittman makes the grab at the 30. 13-yard pickup, nice haul from Pittman.
Well, he stretched out that body of muscles to make a nice fingertip grab. He's going to be their 3rd down replacement for Larry Centers of a year ago. What a catch by Pittman. Yeah, he's got to move in here a little bit just to get the call from Jake, make sure knows what he's doing up against Al Harris. Damon Moore a little slow getting over there from the safety position.
From the 30. Dances down to the 25-yard line, 5 yards on the play. William Thomas on the tackle.
This is nothing new for if you're a Cardinal fan.
This is Jake time.
Well, it's Jake time. It's also the Cardinal time. I mean, Chris Jackie last year got brought in here, kicked 3 field goals as time expired to win games last year.
The Philadelphia Eagles call a timeout, but you talk about this being a situation the Cardinals are used to. The last time they played each other on this field in December, Chris Jackie missed a field goal, so they went to overtime, but there he made up for it with the 32-yard game winner as Arizona. That got them on that streak where they won 3 games in a row on the final play to make it into the playoffs.
That's right. Chris Jackie came in for Joe Nedney last year, who injured his knee and
blew out his ACL.
That's right, and Jackie was was exactly what the doctor ordered Last year, 7 games won by 3 points or less, 4 of them as time expired. Jackie last year had missed a 34-yarder in regulation time, made up for it in overtime.
So each team has now used a timeout here in the second half. Jake Plummer and the Cardinals from the 25-yard line. 2nd and 5, trailing by 2. Movement. Flags are down. Looked like the tight end Terry Hardy flinched just a bit.
He did, and Hugh Douglas saw it. Hardy's had a good day receiving the football for the Cardinals today, making his first NFL start.
Prior to the snap, a neutral zone infraction, number 61 of the defense, entered the neutral zone, which caused the offense to false start. Penalized 5 yards. It results in a first down.
That just gives the Cardinals a first down and 4 more downs here, get closer to a potential field goal or touchdown. Now, they called it on 61, but obviously Steve Everett on the sideline, the center, had nothing to do with that. They were looking at Willie Thomas, number 51.
Right.
Who was in the line of scrimmage attempting a blitz.
Gives Arizona the first down from the 20. That's Morrell. Philadelphia calls the timeout again. Today's game being produced by Raymond B. Smaltz. The third, of course, not the first or the second, but the third. And directed by Joe Assetti, our associate director, Dennis Mazzacco, our broadcast associate, Wayne Wilson. The studio show produced by Scott Ackerson and directed by Bob Levy. The associate director is Jennifer Love. The senior producer, Bill Brown. Executive producers of Fox Sports are Ed Gorin and David Hill. We have appreciated the opportunity to bring this one to you today. Perfect way to start off the season, an NFC East battle between the Arizona Cardinals and the Philadelphia Eagles. It's a 2-point game right now with just over a minute and a half left. And while we keep the NFC theme going here today on Fox, 2 of the biggest teams in the NFC last season, the Minnesota Vikings and the Atlanta Falcons, are the game that we will bring to you as the second half of our doubleheader. But we've got to finish this one first. Eagles up by 2, Arizona with the ball. Play action. Plummer on the bootleg. Pushed out of bounds. Troy Vincent gets him. Make sure that thumb is okay, but he gets it down inside the 10-yard line, down inside the 5. 17 yards on the run by Plummer. And now Arizona may be thinking touchdown instead of field goal.
What a call by the Cardinals right there. Mark Trestman, the offensive coordinator, and Plummer challenging the entire Eagle defense, going for the touchdown and the knockout punch. But Jake has been sterling in the second half. 3 first-half interceptions. Mark Trestman right here calling the signals.
First and goal from the 4. The play clock ran out on him. Going to be a delay of game penalty.
Offense.
We
5-yard penalty. Remains first down.
We talk so much about Jake Plummer's thumb, and you almost forget the fact he really hadn't played much of the preseason, so it wasn't just the thumb injury. No. It was a matter of getting his timing back. Played, got hurt early in the second preseason game, hadn't played since then.
Curt, he only threw 10 passes in the preseason. You know, I mean, he threw that in the first quarter today.
Now it's first and goal from the 9. Plummer just kneels down. Apparently they've decided they're going to go for the field goal.
Well, Jake's shown you why everybody is so high on him and why he's a marquee player in this league. So there's 3 first-half interceptions, none in the second half.
And a nice afternoon there. 273 yards passing, especially the way he started out the first half, first quarter.
Well, Jackie was 8 of 9 a year ago inside of 40 yards. And they made a decision today. I mean, you know, they carried 2 kickers on this roster right here. They had to make a decision between Joe Nedney and Chris Jackie. Jackie, of course, we mentioned, 3 winners as time expired a year ago.
You know, the Arizona Cardinals, I think, decided they'll just make it easy for all the people to do the highlight shows. Just re-cue the tapes from the last half of last season, and you've got today's game. A fourth quarter comeback and a field goal attempt to try and win it very late in the fourth.
Yeah, and the legend grows of Jake Plummer game by game, because a Jackie field goal here today gives him 10 fourth quarter comebacks in only 28 starts.
Plummer decides to go down once again. Obviously, they are settling for the field goal as Jackie gets ready. Don't forget, coming up next, the Vikings and the Falcons. Jamal Anderson and Atlanta trying to defend their house. Last year, they went up to Minnesota and did it to Randy Moss and the boys.
How do you defend that guy? I mean, that's Ray Buchanan's job out there.
There is no way.
What? You know, he made great professional athletes look like they were in the junior varsity last year.
Atlanta did a great job, though, stopping him in the second half of that NFC Championship game. But I'm sure that the Vikings have learned from that as well.
Well, Randy Moss was injured in the second half of that game a year ago up there in Minnesota, and I think that was a big reason why the Falcons were able to come back. And now the pressure on for Jackie.
Chris Jackie going to come on and attempt a 30-yard field goal.
Snapper is 17-year veteran Trey Junkin.
And the holder, Scott Player, the punter. So they let the clock run down as low as they can. They want to make sure this is the final play of the game. Jeffrey Lurie, the Philadelphia Eagles owner. Let's see which way he leans. You know, he's going to try and make sure that ball doesn't go through the uprights, but he's not going to have a chance to defend this one. His players are going to have to do it.
Believe me, that heart is ticking right there on Jeff Lurie. He believes a lot in what Andy Reid brings and his style of coaching and, you know, everything that he's about. I mean, there was a lot of coaches being interviewed for this head coaching job, but when Andy Reid showed up with the organization and the book that he had accumulated things on for 7 years, you know, in order to run an offense, to run a team, to practice, to schedule, very organized guy.
Jackie officially from 31 yards out. The silence tells you it went through, and the Arizona Cardinals take their first and only lead of the game, and it's when the game is over. Arizona wins it 25-24. I'm Curt Menefee for Brian Baldinger and Don Tollefson, saying so long from Philadelphia in an exciting game. Arizona with another comeback win, 25-24 the final. Be sure to stay tuned to Fox Sports for the second game of our doubleheader, the Minnesota Vikings and the Atlanta Falcons, right after these messages. And for more information on today's exciting contest and the latest in the NFL, make sure you log on to foxsports.com.